Video games like Postal.
Going Postal.
Going Postal. New video game. It's called Postal.
There are a lot of people that really wish we would go away, but it's never going to happen.
Their whole premise is so over the top. It's so ridiculous.
There was a video game called Postal. We just ran around shooting people.
Oh, this is going to piss off your viewers, isn't it? Oh, well.
Going Postal, The Legacy Foretold, a new documentary about the history of running with scissors. Streaming this spring. Pre-order now. Go to goingpostaldoc.com. That's goingpostaldoc.com. Tell them In the Keep sent you.
I remember slamming my thumb in a door at church. That's the first memory I think I ever have, and maybe it wasn't, but kind of segues into there was a lot of church where I was from, the Bible Belt, Grew up going to church every Sunday, going to grandma's house, getting fried chicken or something. So yeah, definitely surrounded by a lot of Baptist church. Got baptized young. Those are probably my first memories, watching VeggieTales.
Yeah, VeggieTales, bro.
Dude,
I remember
my
the
son-
Larry Boy and the Jonah movie. Like, those were epic, dude. Come on.
Yeah. My son is dancing to VeggieTales now. Shakes his butt to it.
Yeah.
Provocatively.
Love songs with Mr. Lunt. Yeah. You are my cheeseburger. Oh, man.
Yeah.
The-
He started
yeah.
dancing recently. He just started taking his first steps. And then he just went for it. He barely sits down anymore. He just walks around. But yeah. But besides that, where did it all start? Trying to think. I played a lot of guitar growing up. My dad played a little bit, from what I remember, and I guess that's where I first got like hooked on guitar, which is something that we've spent a lot of time doing, which I still play a lot today. I just bought a new pedal, bought a tremolo pedal. I got a new amp, which I showed you. So yeah, rock and roll still living strong in my life since a kid.
What was the first music that you remember that, like, made you a rock and roll person versus a regular person?
Led
Vanilla.
Zeppelin. So I know that sounds pretty standard, but I just kind of like Led Zeppelin. I guess like I'd shown, like I must have said that to somebody, and then my uncle got me like this DVD that had all of their live performances, and I would just sit in my room and watch that like all day long and just like dream about being Jimmy Page, and just like, man, I just loved that so much.
Yeah.
I started getting like Led Zeppelin magazines and stuff people would give me.
The Moby Dick drum solo live.
Yes, exactly. Dude, I loved that so much. And I didn't have a phone for a long time, so like that was my only source of entertainment. Like a lot of kids, was just like throwing on whatever DVDs or VCRs you had. I remember like the transition from VCRs to DVDs. But yeah, the Led Zeppelin one was a DVD, and it was pretty kick-ass.
I think for me, like, it was the Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I want to say 2 soundtrack had TNT by AC/DC and Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. And that was like, I knew when I heard those 2 songs, it was like, I want to do that. And then I went straight to school, started a band. I didn't even know any instruments or anything, but I knew a guy with a guitar, and I knew another dude that knew how to play like the harmonica or some shit. I was like, we're starting a rock and roll band right now. And yeah, that was that was it for a long time. Like, I didn't think about anything else until I think I was like 17 before I changed course at all.
Pro wrestling.
Yeah, I got really into pro wrestling right around the time I was like, I mean, I was already into pro wrestling, but like decided I wanted to do it when I was probably 17.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
for real.
Yeah,
And
dude. I'll still pull up that montage video you have sometimes just for kicks.
don't tell anybody. My listeners so don't find it. Start making fun of me.
They don't know.
They could
Well.
probably find it. It's okay. But yeah, man, those were the days. And that was like backyard shit too. Then I like actually went and got in a ring and like I went all over the southeast doing
Hell
that stuff. Like
That's
it just
crazy.
the people that you meet, it's just similar to musicians, but maybe a little bit darker. Like musicians, it's like arrogant lead singer sleeping with somebody's girlfriend. Like wrestlers are psychos. They're crazy people. They're just the rejects of society, and they're my best friends. It's like I was the responsible one. I was like I had a car and a driver's license, and then just like 5 dudes all fucking taking pills and doing crazy stuff in the back, and I'm like, please don't do that in my car, guys. I don't want to go to jail. And they're like, shut up, kid. Be okay. I'm like, okay, sir. Like
Yeah,
whatever.
Can't even
Keep
imagine.
get taken advantage of so much. Get fucking that's just weirdness.
Yeah.
Like I remember
No.
this one dude who's probably dead named I don't know. I hope he's not. But his name was Damien LeVay, which is already a scary name to have. But he was just a whacked out gay meth head wrestler guy. And he was also like, no matter how bad these people seemed to be, like no matter how fucked up they were, all the darkness and the kind of people who would probably stab someone for like looking at them the wrong way, all had my back. It was like, dude, if somebody, because I was kind of smaller too, and I still am, obviously. They're like, somebody fucks with you, dude, we're gonna hit the ring and shank them motherfuckers. We got your back forever. And it was like real gang brotherhood, and I loved that. I felt safe, even though I was definitely not. So.
Like a circus show. I was just watching like Steve-O was talking about whenever he was in the
Mhm.
circus, just
Yeah.
so much cocaine every day. I feel like that'd be similar to like traveling with pro wrestling folks, like just drugs barreling down the road.
Lots and lots and lots of vices of all assortments, everything you could think of. But then also like there's a lot of soul in those people, like they've been someplace, they've seen some shit. Like we're talking about people who are parallel to anybody who travels for a living, period. Like your life on the road is a tough life, and then life on the road when you're constantly getting beat up is like even worse. So
Brain damage.
yeah, a lot of brain damage. Yeah, a lot of folks whose job requires them to put their self in bodily harm, who do not and never have and never will have health insurance, don't even consider that as an option.
Yeah.
And then especially
Right.
the people who are like for real traveling, like we'd have dudes come up from Mexico and shit, like all kinds of crap. Like,
Damn.
yeah, a lot of
Some
craziness.
Nacho Libre stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like I send all my money back home to an orphanage. Like, no, all of it. But I think that's a great part of growing up, dude. Like just and so where you were near St. Louis, but like kind of in the country a little bit.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
about it. Like I feel like everyone grew up in a small place, like where I came from. But then I think about it, I'm like, probably not, honestly. Just because like more people are in more populated areas, like
Mhm.
and bigger cities and different places. Like where I'm from, it definitely is just like just a dot on Earth. But like it's really small. But I think that it was good, like good humble beginnings,
Mhm.
And I kind of like it, I wouldn't really wish that upon Benny, my son, but but it might end up like that. I don't know. It's cheap, dude. Like you can get a house out there with a yard, like a good starter home for, 212,000. And then, you're looking at houses here. We're looking at like, I don't even know. You can't find anything affordable for less than like a $500,000, and it's insane. Like
In
that just
Colorado
doesn't seem
Springs.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're
Fuck
looking
that.
our budget right now is like 400,000 and below, and like between 300 and 400, and it's just crazy. Like, I don't know. I'm doing really good with money right now, but at the same time, like, it just sucks. Like, the only benefit to that would be just building equity, um, then having something of value you can sell and make money. Like, I'm sick of paying the same amount as a mortgage would be in rent and never seeing that money again. Like, it kind of bugs me because you're losing up to like $30,000 a year. Just you're never going to see it again, and I hate it. So like, we just want to buy a house. With the VA, we can cut all the. You just went through that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did it all the VA shit. I'm still I don't have the final stuff back for them yet, but I mean, I did the whole process, and
Nice.
it is what it is.
Yeah, we're trying to get someone to pay. Like, so our realtor knows how to cut the. I mean, this is really boring stuff. I don't know.
It's
Talk
okay.
about anything else, I'm sure. But they're trying to find someone that'll cut the. Was it the closing costs or whatever?
Mhm.
So a lot of people pay for that right now just to sell their house. So they're finding these houses on the market that like, used to be like meth houses and stuff like that, which sounds bad, but they have to come in and like fix the whole house and stuff. And then they'll pay like the initial cost and stuff, and the VA covers the rest. So then you're just going straight into your mortgage. So then, you get a good percentage, and then maybe you're paying something affordable from there. So that's what we're trying to do. But I don't know, man. Adulting, it's really it went from literally just being just some drunk kids to freaking everything, man.
Yeah, so
Which is good.
we were still in your childhood, and we were talking about
Right.
music and such, but
Yeah.
then we went on that tangent.
Yeah, so I went to the tiniest school in the tiniest town, which was whenever I was growing up, like elementary school. It was this little private school. My dad was like a druggie, and she was trying to like protect me from that. So she put me in this uh like little cheap private school that had, I think, 150 people from the grade kindergarten to 8th grade. So like my class had like 11 kids that I grew up with completely. Like those were the only kids I knew for like a long time, which I feel like really built in my like just who I am today, which is just like very bad social skills generally. Which like, I mean, I think they've gotten better, but like it was bad for a while. Like I feel like my only real like identity was like was like being weird, I would say, or just like playing guitar. Like I remember times where I'd feel uncomfortable, like, and I'd just be like, I'm just gonna play guitar in this social setting. You know what I mean? Just because, yeah, it was weird. Like I just feel like I did not grow up around a bunch of kids, which I don't know. I mean, yeah, good for my mom for like keeping me from like trying to keep me from like drugs and stuff. But like, I mean, I wouldn't do it that way personally now that I'm a parent, but I can't hold it against her. Like she was stressed out and whatever, but it was good. It's still good. I mean, I have some friends I still remember from those times. Uh, I haven't really talked to him, I guess, but I don't know. Me and my sisters make fun of him. Like, there's these kids that played with like stuffed animals from like until they were like probably like 13 or 14. Pretty bad, like pretty bad, But yeah, I at some point I was like, "This is weird, mom. Like, let's go somewhere else." So I went to high school at Jackson, quite a bit bigger, you know. Got my footing there, got my first girlfriend, first kiss, first love, Uh, yeah, and dated her for 2 years. Then we broke up because I couldn't stop smoking weed.
I've never understood why that's like I've known so many dudes that are like their girlfriend just hates that they smoke weed. I'm like, of all the fucking things,
Yeah,
you know,
I know.
like
Brooke's like, "Hell yeah." She's like, "Smoke with that weed," because she's seen how bad it's gotten. She's like, "Fucking I don't give a shit. You can
whatever
smoke
it
it."
takes to keep you off the
Yeah.
worst things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get
Yep.
it.
Which, I mean, hell yeah. I showed her as bad as it can get, so now I can get away with a lot more, you know?
That's how you know she really loves you, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
for real. It's wild. I mean, I wouldn't
so
have stayed with me.
you said how many siblings did you have? Is you and your
So,
sister?
yeah, I had 3 older sisters. We're all 4 years apart. So
Damn,
I know. So my oldest sister's, what, 12 years
all
older than me?
all the same
Uh,
parents?
yep. Well,
Wow.
one of them's iffy. My sister Emily, she's we're all kinda, we're all dark complected, like, dark hair, and then
Mm,
there's Emily, which is, like, pale as fuck and blonde,
yeah.
but, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, she resembles other people in the family. I mean, I'm sure that come from my mom, but my
Yeah,
sister
I didn't
Rachel's
even
kind
know
of
I had a sister until I was 13, and then she was 16 when I met her. My dad, like,
wow.
he's like, "I gotta tell you something." And I was like, "I knew it, I'm adopted." And he's like, "Worse than that." I'm like, "Really? What worse than that?" Yeah, so, yeah, my dad had a, one of those one night stand kinda situations that would just all everyone in the family agreed to never talk about, but the thing was that, like, everyone in town did know this, just not me and my brother. So so it was just eventually gonna come out kinda thing. But yeah,
Yeah. You're
we
from
all
a
we're
pretty small place too, right?
well, that's complicated. Yes and no. Like, like, I'm from Mobile County, but I'm
Okay,
not from, like,
Mobile's
the
pretty
city of Mobile.
yeah.
So, like, my parents were separated, when I was really young. So, my dad lived in this little town way up in the north of the county called Citronelle, and my mom lived in a place called Wilmer, which is kinda midway in between. Neither of these are large towns, but I mean, like, I went to a fairly big high school, like, in terms so there was, like, I don't know, 2,000 people in my class, and, yeah.
Say hi. Brooks here.
Hello,
She's about to go out.
and don't you just look like a rootin' tootin' cowgirl.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're
Pat,
happy St. Patrick's Day.
almost,
Yeah,
listen.
yeah.
You're ruining the pod.
Okay, alright.
You're not ruining it. Do you wanna join? Like,
Join. Huh?
I bet she's got some horror stories to tell. We wanna get the real dirt
Yeah, I
on
can do that.
Jake Burchett.
I know, she probably does. Huh? I'm talking to Ty. Yeah, I'll see you. She said bye. Jesus. We're having
Um,
fun. I mean, Brooke hasn't gone out in so long. It'd be
yeah,
fun, you know?
it's
Yeah, she's
interesting,
got the
like
dirt for sure. You know?
yeah, yeah. But, like, growing up, I mean, it was definitely, like, redneck, rural as fuck, like, there's basically nothing to do, it's all just nurseries and farms and,
Yeah.
land and woods, and so, like, I didn't have a city life, but I wouldn't say that I was, like, isolated, there were other people around, for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I had people around for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't crazy. Like, it's a cute town, and I've seen way worse. Like, Cape Girardeau
Mm,
is honestly one of the bigger areas, bigger like towns in the area. So I mean, yeah, it wasn't bad. There's like a river walk. There's a Lewis and Clark, like Lewis and Clark Road. Yeah, it's on the Mississippi River. Like it was a
yeah.
like a port town, or no, that'd probably be ocean, but whatever. Like people stop and unload cargo there off the river. So it's not like extremely small, but uh, my my mom remarried to a guy named Tom. Tom, it's like the perfect stepdad name.
Hold on.
Shut up,
We get
shut up, Tom.
you're going too fast. So,
Sorry.
you and your 4 sisters all
Oh,
allegedly, at least, with the same parents, and then your dad passed away.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
so my dad passed away right before I joined the military. So he was,
Oh, alright,
yeah.
later, okay, yeah.
So he was still like around, but he just like I would get a random call sometimes and
Yeah.
answer it and be like, "Hello," and be like, "It's your dad, son." And then I'd be like, "Oh, hey." Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really have like a relationship with him, but it's weird because like I mean, I think about my son right now. Like if I was to leave him, but like my dad left probably around the age of like 5 or 6. I'm just thinking about how much we already have like built up right now. And I'm just like, that's still something that I feel like sticks with you, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really like I don't get emotional about it, but I feel like whenever I was younger, like whenever I was a boy, it was something that like I thought about a lot. Like I was like, who is my dad? You know? And I'd see him every once in a while. I'd really like look forward to it. But he blew me off a lot, and it made my mom upset because like I'm just a little boy. Like, is my dad coming? Like my soccer games and stuff. But he'd go sometimes. I remember one time he got me a little like uh this little like screen thing that literally just played like one episode of SpongeBob. I don't know. I'd watch that thing all the time. It's the Bubble Bowl.
Yeah,
Pretty awesome. It's a good episode.
great song.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but I feel like like I feel like my dad is I feel like I'm a lot like him, or at least in stages of my life, I've been a lot like my dad. Uh, just I look a lot like him. I feel like my mom looks at me and like she gets glimpses of my dad and is like, "Fuck you." Just no, but I look a lot like him. Uh, and yeah, I would say I've definitely taken some. There are some things that I say to Benny that remind me of something that my dad used to say to me, like like monkey butt. He'd be like, "Come here, monkey butt." Like just weird things that like little things that you know that kind of his spirit lives on.
But he
But
just he just couldn't stop with the was it heroin or
yeah, so I mean, I really don't know. My mom is like, I've had so much trouble picking her head about like my
yeah.
dad, and maybe I just need to sit down and like talk to her about it. I feel like there's so many things in my family that I just don't know. Like I don't know like what like uh like how Native American I am. I probably could have gotten in school for free or something potentially, because I have people ask me all the time like Jake, are you white? Like yes. But,
Kind of.
like, I get dark complected, and especially with the beard, I look freaking, like, I don't know. I look like somewhere, like, I don't know, like from Rome or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you look like Mediterranean to me. I've always
Yeah.
always thought you're like Roman or like Greek or I don't know, Italian, something like that.
Yeah. And so, like, I don't know. And then my mom's super white. So I don't know. But, where was it going? Oh yeah, just a lot of things I don't feel like I knew, like my dad's story. I don't know if he had any good times. But my sister told me that whenever I was a baby, I was like crawling around like syringes. So it must have been pretty bad. Like, but I feel like I knew my dad. He had like he was able to take us every other weekend. So I'm sure he got like clean at some point to get uh, to go to court and like be able to see us. You know what I mean? But because I remember we'd go on like fun trips, and like, but it's funny because like there's a lot of these memories that you don't know until you're an adult. Like my dad was like we'd meet a friend and he'd roll down his window and be like, "Hey, my buddy, whatever," and then they would talk for a second and leave, and then later me and my sisters were like, "Oh, he was buying drugs." Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But was never. I don't think he was ever abusive. Unless it's something that I've shut out of my brain. But even my sisters, I don't think have ever said they just hate him because he left. You know what I mean? But I don't think he was ever an abusive person. I think he was just like, belligerent, and just like couldn't get his shit together. Basically, like never wanted to just take life seriously. Like he told me whenever I joined the military, he was like, "Yeah, I thought about doing that once." And I'm like, "Man, you should have." Like.
Mhm.
He just worked in kitchens, like, his whole life, which, I mean, I coulda done that. I remember whenever I was, like, 19 years old before I joined, like, I was working in kitchens, and I was like, "Man," like, I was so depressed. I was like, "Is this gonna be what life is?" Like, I didn't know any different. No one in my family was in the military at any point. Like, I'm not from a military family whatsoever, but I had some friends that joined, and I was like, "Man, like, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go do it. Like, I need out of here," and I barely even thought about it and just joined. Which yeah, I mean, that changed my whole trajectory to where I am today, which I'm pretty happy about. Like I could have very easily just fallen into drugs because I did a lot before I joined the military. Uh, that's probably something. I hope this isn't used against me.
It won't. It won't be.
Um,
You're listening to KEEP in the Keep. please take a moment to tell at least one other person how much you enjoy the show. That's right. Grab that link and send it to that buddy you're thinking of who you know would be interested in what we're talking about right now. Maybe post it somewhere. I know it seems scary, but you can do it. I believe in you. Don't hesitate to leave a comment and a 5-star review, a like, wherever you're listening. And if you want, Patreon supporters for this show get episodes early, access to our secret Discord channel, chances to suggest questions to our guests, our games, and whatever else I can do for you. Every little bit helps. This podcast directly supports my ability to do what I love and take care of my growing family. The link is in the show notes. Thank you, bless you, stay in the keep.
But yeah, so that's how my dad was. I feel like I've got a lot of his addictive traits. I'm still trying to kick a bunch of bad habits like smoking, which is hard. It's just in our blood, and I know Native American blood has a lot of like addictive traits. You're Irish, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
very.
probably Irish too, you know? I mean, everyone's kind of seems addictive. And then there's people like Brooke that like never got addicted to anything ever in their lives. And like I'll talk to her about like addiction, and like she has no idea. She literally has no idea what addiction feels like, really, you know? Like maybe like her coffee in the morning, you know?
No, it's
But
really hard to explain to somebody who hasn't experienced it. Like, all they can really do is kind of trust you and give you grace. But it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you don't know, like, I feel like when people are, I've been drinking too much. I'm like, how much you been drinking? They're like, oh, well, I had like 3 drinks last night with dinner, and I just don't feel 100% today. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, I hope you get better and all that stuff, but it's not the same thing as when you first thing in the morning. The first thing you do is just get hammered and fall back to sleep for fucking 2 weeks in a row, and then you're like, wake up, one day, and you're like, fuck, I've fucked everything up, and then you try to like get better all in one day. Like, I'm gonna go make up for lost time.
Yeah.
And you know what I need? Something to pick me up. And it's literally like it's being kind of insane for a long period of time. It's like the solution to all of my problems is to adding more things instead of taking things away somehow. But yeah,
Yeah,
I dodged a lot of bullets, I think.
dude, same. Like God must have like some like a plan for me is all that I can think, because I've seen people go to prison for like way less than the shit I did. You know what I mean? I could have been barreling down the road and like ran over a family or something like that, like,
Yeah.
or something. Like, so many bad things could have happened, and somehow just unscathed, besides like some of my friends being like, you're a piece of shit, you know what I mean? But like, that's it. Like, I feel really, really lucky because I did a lot of dumb stuff. I really did, like, all the time. And that could have ruined my life. Like Brooke's brother, like, man, he is just like, he's just been like fucked over so many times. Like, he was dating a girl that, like, remember, he was like 19. He was dating like a 17-year-old, and the family like pressed charges on him. And I don't even know why, but so, and like, that's a normal relationship. That's like a 2-year difference, but because the laws, like, technically he's an adult and she's not. I don't know if they got in some sort of fight or something, and the parents were like pissed about the relationship. So he is in his mid-30s. He still cannot be within like, what, I don't know, 1,000 feet of a school or whatever, which is pretty crazy. He has 2 little girls that he married into, and he can't take them to school. He can't go watch their events or anything at school, and they don't know why. But like, and that's just so, like, that has still fucked up his life at this, like, today. And he was just like a kid, like, it's just crazy. Like, that's just messed up, but
But your dad left you with music, at least. So you picked up the guitar, and
yeah, he always
how old were
listened
you when you
to-
started playing?
Well, I remember I first, like, touched a guitar when I was like 6 or 8, but like, and like my dad showed me a few things, but like I didn't get my first guitar like that I actually like really honed in and played like constantly until I was I think 10 or 11. And then I played nonstop. I was watching Led Zeppelin and I was just like playing all the time. And that's where like a, the majority of my skill that I have today is just from playing from 11 and then like to like 13 and then kind of fiddling around and then like taking it seriously again around like 16 to 18.
Mm.
Like super serious about it. Probably 19 as well. Tried to play like some bars and stuff. Um, and then yeah, and then plateaued for a long time. But dude, I'm getting back in it like crazy. Like I'm playing some folk stuff. I'm getting all sorts of stuff for my guitar, learning new scales, getting like I got like this scale book and I'll just kind of like go in there and try to find some new things to make new sounds and stuff and kind of get away from like I feel like I play like honky tonk blues mostly, which like I kind of want to get away from. Uh still fun, but like that's the only thing I'm like actually have like speed in and whatnot. And that all just came from like Led Zeppelin, I guess. Like they played like a lot of bluesy riffs. And so like that's where I started. I wouldn't even say that's like a majority of the music that I listen to now is like honky tonkish. Like I could talk to someone and be like, we're listening to music all day, and then I'll pick up the guitar and play something that doesn't sound at all like what we've been listening to. And just because that's the only style that I really like honed in on for so long. But get more creative with it. I saw Billy Strings, and so now I'm trying to play like crazy bluegrass music, which I first got into whenever I lived in West Virginia. So this could be a good segue. So I was a raft guide for a while. That was before military, after high school. So I don't know if there's any other places you wanted to hit before we got to raft guide days, but I think it's a
Oh,
pretty good one. But
go ahead.
yeah, I got a lot of really good inspiration for like folk music and bluegrass whenever I was out there rafting. That was like my favorite job I've ever had. I'm actually thinking about getting back into it. I'm getting my EMT, so like I could probably, raft like a lot of EMT jobs. Like say I do firefighting or something like that in the woods. A lot of them are like 48 hours at a time. So you drive to the woods for like 2 days and then you're off the rest of the week. So you can side hustle or do whatever. So, as an EMT, you'd be a pretty good I mean, it doesn't take a lot to be a raft guide. Like, I wouldn't need like I'm an EMT, and they'd be like, "Oh, hell yeah, we were looking for one of you." Like, I mean, they hire literally anybody. You know what I mean? Like, just any bums that want to like, are willing and at least like can flip a raft. But I'd love to get back into it. But those were like those are summers that I still like. It makes me sad that I'll never be able to live that again is those days in West Virginia. Like those are truly the most like peaceful, like serene and wild that simultaneously, like just some of the best times of my life. Jumping off a bridge naked at the same time, like just me and this old man Chad Funk, like in our own canoes. Like we didn't. There were these. So it was a part of like a Boy Scout program, and uh, we just we put these two. We only had 2 Boy Scouts this week, and we just put them in the same canoe. Didn't teach them anything, and so we would ditch them. We'd like paddle as hard as we could down the river, and then we'd like light up a bowl, and then just like lay in our canoes and just like zen out, and just float down the river and just like so serene and beautiful. West Virginia is like a gorgeous place, I would love to have a house just on the river out there, but at the same time, West Virginia is pretty bad. Like the people that actually live there. It's probably better to visit. But yeah, I love those summers. I did 2 summers out there. Yeah, Chad Funk actually. I know I was just talking about the sweet story of us smoking a bowl, but he fucked me up my first season. We did something called double guiding. So this is a video on YouTube somewhere, but I can't find it. I know someone that has the video, and I need to reach out to them. But yeah, we were double guiding. He was like confident he knew the river, where I'd been like studying the river, but like he was like, I know it. And he totally paddled both of us and then a boat of 8 kids into this huge thing called Barry's Hole. And like no one's head popped up from the water for a total of 15 seconds, which is a long time. If you're watching it on video, you're like, okay, where are they? And then finally you see the first kid pop up and we had to like rescue all of them. And yeah, just wild, man, just life threatening, like just a thrill. Like I love rafting, it is so fun. And yeah, those were some good days. Got introduced to some drugs during that time. I actually I would say that was the first time that I started having alcoholic tendencies. Was probably that summer because we drank so much. Because everyone was older than me. Like I was like young, 18. Everyone was like, doing like, they were in like college or just graduated college, and they were doing this as a way to segue into other outdoor rec jobs. So like, everyone could buy beer. Everyone was smoking cigarettes really hard. Yeah, I started smoking really hard then. But like it was so fun. Like I wouldn't take it back,
Yeah.
At that time it wasn't really a problem, and it was just so fun for an 18-year-old kid to just get wasted and jump off bridges and all that stuff. So yeah, very, very fond memories for me. My first time leaving Missouri, well, not like, I mean, I'd left this state a couple times, but like I moved out on my own for like 3 or 4 months and just like lived in West Virginia. I thought that was so cool. And then I was just hooked on like leaving my hometown, basically. Like I was like, I want out of here. I see how easy it is. You just land a job somewhere else, that's all you got to do. And then, so yeah, I just felt like, how am I going to move? Like, where am I going to go? I don't know anyone necessarily that lives anywhere else besides here, So, naturally, yeah, 2 years after graduating high school, joined the military. And yeah, became an alcoholic.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like it's one of those things is like people are trying to like get sober and they're like, I'm gonna join the military. It was like not necessarily what you yeah. Because it's just like the culture is so like I mean, there's everything, but don't get me wrong, but like alcohol is like the culture. It's like if you don't drink, you're an outlier, and people will call you a pussy for it too. Like
Well, I think
I knew very few people in the Air Force at all who was like, I don't drink, and I was like, what do you molest kids or something? Like, what do you do? Like my first thought is like, what vice do you have?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I
yeah,
know. I think the same thing sometimes. I'm like,
yeah.
people that don't spend their time drinking, like, what do they get up to? It's probably nothing good.
It's not
But
necessarily true, but it's like, yeah, if you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't cuss, you don't gamble. If I can't see what your vice is, I assume it's something really bad. Like, but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and you got to think about it. Like, nobody. I feel like there's no one that's like that age that actually has money to spend like that. Like I think about it like, to go out like that, I feel like you either have to come from money to be able to go out like downtown or, and just go out like that all the time, unless you're literally like a young person in the military. Like
Mhm.
bum college kids can't really, I mean, they're just going to like shitty like frat parties, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like we just had bountiful money to just spend on booze and shit. And yeah, it was just bad. As soon as I turned
It's just
21, like
part of grocery shopping. It's like
yeah,
whatever I'm gonna get, and also this 30 rack of beer and a bottle of vodka and some
yeah.
wine. It's just part
I
of the shop.
I think about it all the time. Like it's good that we don't live in the same place. Like as soon as I decided to get sober, went to rehab. Yeah, went to rehab. I don't even know. Did I tell you that? I think I
No,
said
let's get to that. So let's walk through the military career. So you go to the recruiting office, you sign up. They give you weather there, or did you get that later?
so the recruiter's office, they gave me a choice of a bunch of things, and like I grew up with women. Like I kind of wish I would have done like there's like chief uh there's some like mechanic job I could have done, which would have been kind of cool.
I
Like,
think you would have made a good seer. Like, I
yeah,
think that would have been cool for you because you're
I
already
know.
like outdoors. You know, you knew
Yeah.
like how to swim, how to do river shit.
Yep.
You know, like just basically just being a
Living
professional
in a
Boy
tent.
Scout.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, I really that's kind of what I was looking for in the military was doing something which I picked the wrong one. Like I should have gone like army or something like that.
Mm.
Truly. I mean, I think my problems would have still followed me anyways. So like I'm just blessed that I made it here now where I'm at because I don't know if it would have been better necessarily. I mean, the culture there is probably worse, but I needed something active, and outdoorsy. Like that's just how I'm built. Like I spend almost all my time outside, truly. Like at work, I'm picking outside, not picking my nose, but picking the guitar.
Mm.
Okay, it's a dumb one. But I walk all of my patrols. I walk for I walk probably each patrol is probably about 3 miles, and I do about 4 of them a day, and I just walk the whole thing. And, I just spent all my time outside, and that's what I needed. Whenever I got sent to the hub, it was just, like, the worst place ever, Just stuck inside on night shift. You don't even have energy during the daytime to do anything besides sleep. And, I just got so depressed, man. Like, I really wish I would've done something more, like, active, hands-on, Um, I think even mechanic, whether my idea was, like, pick something that, you can turn into a career afterwards, like, that was the idea, which you can, I guess, with this level of weather, but it's not very much, and it's probably gonna pay a lot less, And
Realistically, is like either you're going to be a military contractor or you need to go get a master's degree. And I was
Yep,
like, there was no way I was going to go finish a master's degree in meteorology
yep,
to work at the national to do the exact same job, but
yeah,
not making that much money and
that I
working at
already
the
hate.
National Weather Service. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
No, there's no
uh,
future in it really, which you would think maybe, and, like which, yeah, you could get your degree in it, I guess, but, yeah, I wasn't gonna do that. But what I'm trying to do now kind of coincides with weather, hopefully. I'm trying to get my drone license, or I guess it's not a license, but like a certification for using drones. And I'm wanting to use that with the firefighters. That's kind of a new thing that's coming up where they're sending drones out to with first responders to get there first and get an idea of what the scene looks like before
mm,
they go there, and just using drones for all sorts of things. So I'm thinking and then also like if you go into firefighting, you get whether I could also get like an associates in fire science and finish my associates in weather or whatever, and just have those two paired together probably pretty nicely, and just basically like firefight for the rest of my life. And if I'm just doing drones, like that could be pretty chill. Like I might not even have to get my hands too dirty, which I want to though. That's the problem. But I'm hoping I just find the sweet gig in the sky where I'm just like happy with everything, uh, career wise. But right now, that's basically where I'm headed. Um, so maybe. Uh,
so you graduate BMT at Lackland and then just went straight to Biloxi.
yep.
So what was your Keesler experience?
Dude,
'Cause
my
you were
Keesler
after me.
experience was crazy.
Was this like 2017, 2018, something like that?
Uh, yeah, 2018 into 2019. Uh,
Yeah.
and it was insane. I mean, that's where I met Brooke for the first time before we were ever
Hey.
dating. Yeah,
Yeah.
classic. But yeah, we weren't
Yeah.
dating at the time, so it wasn't quite, uh,
Was
you
it
know, tech school
like
marriage.
did
She
you
almost got
know?
tech school married.
Did you
Huh?
know though? Did you know?
That is Brooke?
I mean, when you met her, did you know she was like, did you have it in your mind like I'm gonna end up making babies with
Yes,
that lady later? Or okay.
I did. I
Yeah.
actually
You're
had
like
dreams at night about her. It's fucking crazy. But every time she gets on to me like, I'm like, "Brooke, I, like, obsessed about you, I really did." Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember and they were, like, sweet dreams, like, I remember I just had a random, like, dream that, like, we were just laying in bed and, she was just, like, there, but it wasn't, like, sexual, it's just, like, sweet, and then,
Mhm.
Yeah, and I really liked Brooke a lot. Then whenever we got stationed in the same place, I was like, "All right, here we go." You know, we both got stationed at Tucson, but I want to dive more into Keesler
Yeah,
because
that's a good
that was
place.
wild. Dude,
You're talking earlier about like being a bunch of young kids with money and in
Yep.
a place where you can get into some trouble, like Biloxi, Mississippi. If you've never been there, it's the Las Vegas of the South, and it's just like
Yeah.
the Air Force Base is like right there. Like you walk off base and you are like within 15 minutes of as much human debauchery as you want. And if you're 21, even if you're not, like
Yeah. No, I wasn't for a while. I turned 21
yeah.
while I was out there, but I got in trouble, uh, a week before I turned 21, and I'd heard so many stories of this, but, like,
Mm.
I've been getting away with it so much, like, my buddy would buy me alcohol and, we just drink a 40 down the road or whatever, and then go hang out at the beach or whatever.
I
It
don't
was
know exactly when it changed, but, like, when I was in Mississippi, there was no, like, open container law. Like, as long as you weren't over the
yeah,
limit, it didn't matter.
same.
It
Yep.
was wild. It was same
Yeah.
thing in Denmark, by the way.
We really?
Yeah. Yeah.
We always said, if a cop pulled you over and you didn't have an open beer in your car, they'd be like, "Here, pop you one open. Go on your way now." Like, it's just
The
abnormal to not have a Bud Light open in the console,
one of our I don't know if you had Mr. Teague. Hey, Mr. Teague, I hope you're listening to this. Uh, was, like, best friends like, the guy that owned the Biloxi Brewing Company was a former Air Force weather guy, so, like, we had connections, and, like, we would be there all the time or at the Chandelier Brewing Company. There were so many brewing companies right there, and you had I mean, I don't wanna get my mouth will start watering, and I'll have a relapse or some shit, but so much good just beer everywhere, like, all over the place.
Yeah.
There's no place you go where they don't try to serve you something or, like, some kinda wildness. It's insane down there.
Yep. I love Biloxi. I would go back for sure. And you lived by
Yeah.
Biloxi originally, like Mobile area. So, I mean, you've
Yeah.
probably been there a few times maybe.
I had been to Biloxi many, many times, and then like, I didn't go straight from basic there, though, like, I went from basic to California, and
Yeah, because
then
you did a linguist
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
That's great. How long were you in linguist school? Or
I mean, I think I got booted out of the school around the 6-month mark, and then I was there for a few more months after that, so it was, like, 8 or 9 months before I actually made it to Keesler. So, like, they booted me out of Arabic school because I was incompetent, and they were like, "Dude, this is not working." And I was like, "I've been telling y'all that the whole time." Like, um, I'd never been so, like, up to that point, like, I had never been so, like I'd never been bad at school. You know what I mean? Like, I would always just, like, ease right through school, and that was the first time in my life that I was, like, challenged, like, I don't know if I could make it through this, and I got super depressed, and I ended up on, like, the doctors, they just stuck, did the Wellbutrin and then Prozac and, "Oh, you'll be okay, just get in there, kid," and
yeah.
I was like, "This isn't working for me." Like, seriously.
Yeah, dude,
Um,
it's ridiculous.
I still love linguistics and everything, and I consider myself to be good at it. It's just that the pace that they wanted to go at was not
Yep.
working for me, and I was like most of the kids there are, like, young, single, have nothing else going on, probably have autism, and then I'm, like, married, trying to have a social life, study, it was too much.
Yeah,
So,
no life in it.
I thought I was
Yeah.
just gonna get out of the Air Force, like, I thought they were just gonna kick me out for real, like,
Yeah. Well,
separate me.
that's how they keep you in because they tell you that,
Yeah.
They're like, "You have to pass or you go to prison." Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they make it scary, I feel like, But, yeah, and then you get washed into weather, which is fucking crazy. Just another
Yeah.
long day of school.
It's like the second hardest thing. It's like, if you can't do the hardest thing, what about the other hardest thing? I'm like,
What about
"Alright." I took it in stride, like, by the time I got to Keesler, I was, like, overconfident. I was like, if I fail this, I'm done." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just put so much pressure on myself to do well, and
Yeah.
and I felt like, personally, everything you learn, especially in the first, like, 3 months of weather school, is shit that you learned in 5th grade. Like, and I pissed a lot of people off by saying that too. They're like, "Oh, I don't know any of this stuff." I'm like, "Dude, you know what the fucking planets are? You know what the North Pole and the South Pole is? They taught us what the 4 seasons are in 5th grade. Like, this is basic Earth science. I'm telling you." And yeah, but whatever.
Yeah. That was good. Yeah, the end was pretty hard. I feel like that was whenever it got pretty real. I mean, it was never, like, terrible, but I was also, like, towards the end, you're, like, established with your friends, and all you wanna do is go out and drink and stuff, and, like,
Mm.
because at first, you get there and you're like, "Woo, like, let's study," Like, you wanna prove do your country right, initially and, study and do all the good stuff, and then, yeah, you meet a whole bunch of freaking crazy people, just wanna go out, and yeah, dude, I went hard at Keesler. I got in trouble a week before, my 21st birthday. I took a shot, out in my car, and then I poured the rest of it in a Coke bottle and brought it in with, like, some Taco Bell or something, and, of course, they're doing breathalyzers, and I don't know, I saw them doing it, and I was like, "I'm too far in," and I didn't wanna seem suspicious, so I just kept walking, did the breathalyzer, and blew a .02. And I was like,
Nice.
"Shit." And I was like, "Fuck, I'm just not gonna say anything." I went back in the room. I still had the alcohol fucking soda, which I'm sure they could fucking smell. Like,
I
it was like liquor.
I feel like
And
that shit is just straight up entrapment. Like the way that they would do, because I was over 21 the entire time I was there, so that I could just show up drunk and they were like, "Hey," and then there would be like 15 kids right next to me just getting put in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Like this is so crazy. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
entrapment. It's like you put a bunch of fucking 19-year-olds in the most tempting place to get drunk in the world, and then you're like, just I'm like, why would they even come home? That's the other thing. Like, why did you even come home?
yeah.
Like, just don't come home. Like,
You
get a
had
hotel. I know,
had to, which sucked.
but
Yeah. Yeah, but I know. Yeah.
yeah.
But, yeah, I got carried out in handcuffs, and it was, yeah, like, everyone like, it was so much drama, like,
Mhm.
everyone's like, "Oh, Jake's getting carried out in handcuffs," and I'm like, "Fuck off," but, yeah, so, the one of the, what are they called, like, MTLs or something,
Yeah,
or, like
military training leader for folks listening.
yeah,
Um,
um,
was Sergeant
they
Miller still there?
I think
Technical
so.
Sergeant, I wanna say Glenn, but I could be wrong. Something Miller. That
I'm
blonde-haired
pretty
guy, like 5'8", crazy.
I'm pretty sure, and I think that's
Yeah.
the one who I talked to.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't I just can't, I'm just so bad with names, so I think it's one of the ones I talked to, whenever my dad died while I was there.
Mm,
Um, I'm pretty sure that's who that was, but no, so, what one of the MTLs was like, uh, whenever I got pulled to the side for blowing a .02, they were like, "I strongly suggest this," and it was like, "Ask for a lawyer." So I was like,
yeah.
"Okay." So I circled that, and then they never pressed anything. They just
I
made
think I
me
still have the Airman Defense Council number in my phone. Yeah.
So the only I don't know. I was afraid every single day after that they were gonna call me down to the office. I would just listen for all the names. I was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be the day. This is gonna be the day, they're gonna pin me," But basically they just made me put up uh these like how many days since an incident cards,
Mm, yeah.
in the cafeteria mess hall. What is it called again?
The DFAC,
Defect.
DFAC, dining facility. Yeah. The Air Force has to be
Yeah.
different than every other branch too. It's not
Yeah.
always like, yeah, like the chow hall, mess hall, whatever. The Air Force is like DFAC. Like why? Yeah. BMT instead of basic training, or MTI instead of drill sergeant, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I had to do that, which is embarrassing, I guess. But yeah, that was it. So I got away with that one. Then I turned 21. Uh Went to a strip club for my 21st birthday because no one wanted, it was like a weekday. And I don't know, that was like the only thing open. And and it was a sketchy one too. I don't think I had any fun there really. But yeah, just a really shitty uh strip club in Biloxi. Like not one of the good ones for sure. Uh but yeah, so that's how I spent my 21st there. And then after that, like, yeah, being able to buy alcohol, like, that's whenever I feel like it became more of a problem for me, Like, I was already drinking quite a bit with my friends before I was 21, but once you can buy it and just drink on your own time, like no one has to go out and get it for you. And like, you're like, oh, well, I guess we're going to drink together now. Whenever you're just drinking by yourself, just to drink, that's whenever I feel like it gets bad. So, it really picked up whenever, we got to Tucson. Um, yeah, yeah, me and Brooke, we drank so much together. It's funny because like that's how our relationship started. Was like, we just wanted to like hang out and party, So we'd have like a margarita Monday, uh, tequila Tuesday, wine Wednesday. Like, and we'd actually call it that. Like, I found any excuse to drink literally every day. And like she loved it because I made it like a theme, you know what I mean? Like we'd make like tacos on Taco Tuesday and tequila, and like it was always fun, but like we drank literally every day. I mean, Brooke was always probably more like not drinking as much as me, but she drank. She really did. Yeah, in tech school actually, before we were ever a thing, we had this friend named Jackson, which he's just a crazy alcoholic. Like just really bad. And we'd all just like sit in the back of the car, and Brooke would freaking chug some liquor, which was pretty crazy thinking of her now. Like, she drinks like a little fruity drink and she's like, ew, I don't like it. It's too strong. But dude, she would guzzle like some liquor, which is crazy to think about now. But she liked drinking. She just wanted to party for a while. And, I was party Jake. And that's how we lived for a long time, which was fun. But yeah, I mean, she was always more mature, about it. But yeah, I finally came around, no more drinking.
Yeah, you were in Tucson and you said it started to get worse. Is this like after you got out of the initial weather training stuff, or like
Yeah,
once you were on
so
in the operational side of things, or
I would say as soon as I got to Tucson, one of the first things I did was go to, well, because I couldn't have liquor in my or like alcohol in general in my dorm in tech school. So once I got to uh, Tucson, your first duty station, you can have your own alcohol. So like in your room. So I was like, hell yeah, that's like the exact thing I'm gonna do right now. So like I went to the store, probably got like a couple things to eat, and then just a bunch of liquor. I was like, man, I'm fucking loaded now. I'm gonna buy all this liquor. So, like, I don't know. I just wanted to make it a party in my room, So I just bought a bunch of liquor, a bunch of beer, and I was just having fun with it because like I had never had that freedom before. Like I turned 21 while I was at tech school. So this is the first time I could buy whatever I wanted, and just like, keep it in my room, try different liquors and stuff like that. And, so yeah, I started drinking, I had a lot of alcohol to try, so I just would sit in my room and try stuff and then like go do my laundry or whatever. Or, yeah, freaking Hickman, one of the first weekends I got there, he invited me to go out and I got fucking trashed. So this is whenever I saw you the first time. Yeah. And
yeah, so you came to my house and we played guitar,
Yep.
and yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
who the fuck is
exactly.
this guy? Like, I was in love. I mean, I knew I loved you right away, but yeah, he was like apologizing. He's like, I'm sorry, this guy's so fucked up. I'm like, no, I love this guy. He's great. Like, bring him around more.
Yeah, well, he pre-gamed so hard. I mean, I wasn't on that level yet. Uh, I really wasn't. Like, I like to drink, but like, he was drinking heavy, which I eventually got to that point where like I'd put those numbers would be like nothing to me. But like we drank like 2 of those huge ass like beer things at the bowling alley. And then he's
Yeah.
like, "You want to go out?" I was like, already fucked up. And he's like, "Okay." Like, I don't know. I wanted to fit in or whatever. But I
Is it
mean,
just something about like that? I don't think people really know this about the military. Like, even because it's so, even though it gets talked about, it's like, when you go to the VA, you don't tell them how fucked up you were. When you
yeah,
go to mental health, you don't tell them everything you did and all that kind of stuff. So even like the records are all skewed. But it's like the truth is, it's as soon as you're on the ground, everyone there is just like, dude, you want, like, every day,
yeah,
every single day, like it's just get tore up, and then you wake up the next morning at 4 o'clock and go do PT or whatever, and you sweat it all out, and you just keep going, and it's just normal. And that's what's so hard for, I think, a lot of people on the outside to like understand is like, because you think of we're all proper and, you know, in our cute little uniforms and shit. I'm like, no, we're just a bunch of fucking useless drunks. We're just
Dude.
functional alcoholism at its highest level.
Yeah. So in tech school, one of the I got like drunk as hell the night before we were taking a PT test, and I ran my best time ever. I was so hungover, but I
Yeah.
ran my best time. I ran an 8:58
'Cause you just wanted to
mile
be
and a
over.
half. Yeah, I wanted to be over, and then I was about to shit my pants. So after I crossed the finish line running an 8:58, I kept running all the way to my dorm and just kept running like a Forrest Gump thing. Like it's
Yeah.
like, like I ran past the end zone and then just like I had to shit so bad. I nearly shit my pants because you know how liquor does.
I'm
Does you
lucky. I
dirty.
never did the dorm thing, thank God. Like, I was just
Yeah.
not really in the dorms, and then, you know, like, the shit that goes on in those places is just you know, you take a bunch of fucking 19-year-olds and stick them in a fucking basically, like, little hotel and tell them they can't do anything, you know? It's debauchery. It's absolutely just, like I said earlier, entrapment, and just the sheer amount of, like, you know, like, they would publish those fucking letters all the time with, like, everything that everyone did that month or whatever, and it's like, people would act all surprised. It's like, "Oh, this guy said he did this drug and that drug," or whatever the fuck, and I'm like, and then all of them, every single one of them was like, when they plead to the deal there for an Article 15 or whatever, it's like, "Well, I don't know who my source was. I would just go to the Safeway parking lot and meet a stranger to buy cocaine," and I'm like, I feel like that's what the Airman Defense Council has decided as the get out of jail free card for not rolling on your dealer in this area or whatever, because it's like, it can't be everyone. There must be a line of like it's like the Home Depot parking lot in the morning kind of shit, you know, just a pile of people are like people off the Air Force Base, like sitting in the Safeway parking lot waiting for the drug dealer guy with a mask on to come by with his trench coat and be like, "Hey, what do you guys, uppers, downers?" Like, um, there's just so much of that shit. And it was just so much. It's like people fucking doing, you know, every drug you can fucking name, like pills, like benzos, speed, like acid, mushrooms, whatever. Like it was all just. I'm like, and then meanwhile, I'm like, I'm not even driving on base if I've had like a fucking
Yeah.
beer or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
Don't me wrong, I did, but you know,
I snuck out of. I wasn't supposed to leave base at some point because I guess I got in trouble or something. This may have been after the alcohol incident. I don't know, but I snuck out. I was hiding in the bed of someone's truck, and like they just drove off base, and like it was just so funny. And it's funny because Brooke saw me. I stayed in the bed of the truck all the way to this like Airbnb that someone got, and it's funny because Brooke was in a car, like not doing at all the same thing. She was just with some other friends, and she saw me in the bed of this truck just hiding behind a bunch of shit. And she was like, "Is that Burchyett?" I was like, "Hey." That's just so funny. Like me and Brooke's story is pretty hilarious. Like how we just knew each other for a while, just as friends in tech school. Wild, dude. Those are wild times. Like, yeah, those are times I definitely cherish for sure. But I don't know. Yeah,
I
still
always felt
wild.
like I was everybody's like big brother or something. Like I was just older, like a little. I wasn't that much older either. I was just like, you know, like more mature. Like I was not in getting involved in a lot of the debauchery. No, I was drinking a lot, but I was mostly like the kind of guy who would, you know, be at home on his computer drinking beer, not like going out and getting fucked up at the club and shit. Like it
Yeah.
just wasn't me.
Yeah, we did some dumb shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
like house parties. Um, yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of really shitty videos. Like, I can't get famous at this point. I feel like there's some fucked up videos of me out there. Not be good. I'd be canceled so quick, you know? But, yeah, it was fun. It was definitely fun. And Tucson was its own thing, and like, I kind of love Tucson. Like, Tucson's like, now that I'm gone out of there, like, there was a lot of good about it, and it's a really, like, pretty area and stuff, but I'm sure, like, it's just rosy, retrospect is so strong, it was also some of my worst times, like,
Mhm.
the worst, like, depression ever, fucking, yeah, hating work, but, like, I remember a lot of fun times, especially at first, like, going to discover, like, Sedona for the first time and all that stuff, and, like, Yeah.
You
It was
never seemed happy at work. You were always like quiet,
yeah, dude.
kept to yourself a lot.
I was very anxious, and a lot of that was from being so absolutely hungover that, like, I was just, like, fucking, like, yeah, just, like, tweaking almost, like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
would drink so much every night and then go in and just feel like shit, you know? And, yeah, I just didn't feel good. I was always nervous, like, the military has always given me this little, like, edge of, like, I feel like I'm about to get in trouble, you know, for something, uh, and yeah, I just felt like, towards the end, I really it got way better. Like, after I got sober, my time like, I started, like, making friends and stuff, and it was a lot better, but, uh, yeah, I mean, I was just, like, always hungover and, yeah, like, I just had, like, a bad entrance into the hub, honestly, like, I just never felt comfortable there initially, like, I just felt like a young airman, everyone there was, like, clicked up and stuff, and I just felt like, I don't know. I have, like, a I I have, like, a low I feel like for a long time I had a very, like bless you. Uh, for a long time, I feel like I had a very, like, low opinion of myself, like, I feel like that's something that I've struggled with a lot, is, like, a low opinion of myself, which, like, you know, like, that I mean, it just sucks because then everything that you go into, you're like, "Oh, this is gonna fucking suck. I'm gonna say the wrong thing," or whatever, you know, which is, like, something that I feel like I've grown out of a lot more now, like my text or, like, my, like, EMT class, I'm, like, the fucking dude there, you know? Like, everyone loves me, I love them, and, like, it's just a beautiful thing, you know? Where, like, I feel like once I first like, there's just so much change in my life. You gotta think of how I came from such a small place, you know? And then, like, you're just getting shipped off and you're around all these people, like, I felt just like I don't know. I was just kind of, trying to get my bearings from, like, all this movement and stuff. But, like, I also at the same time, I had a great time in tech school, like, I was very social there, but once I got to the hub, like, I don't know, I think honestly, I think the thing with Hickman, like, set me off wrong. I know I, like, probably made him upset by getting so drunk, and a lot of people I was like, "Man, I fucking suck," you know? And then, like, I go to the hub with all these people that I got trashed with and, like, felt bad. I was like, "Well, damn, like, I mean, fuck my life. Like, all these people hate me." Like, that's what's running through my head, you know what I mean? And I just lived up to that. Like, I just kept getting drunk and,
Yeah.
like, felt like no one liked me the entire 6 years. Like
There's no like work life separation or balance or what really
yeah,
like there. It's like the people you hang out with are the people you work with, and
yeah,
like it's just you're isolated with that. It's like a little school all over again.
yeah, for
Everybody knows
sure.
what everybody did though, or, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. There were some crazy stories. I feel like it tamed down towards the end, but, whenever we first got there, everyone was getting in trouble for crazy shit,
Mm,
like, for real. Um, but, yeah, I always felt like I was on the outskirts of it. I think yeah, I just felt, um I don't know, I guess embarrassed from that, and then, like, just, like, that stuck with me, and then while I was, like, training, I was with this guy, Reyes. I don't know if you know who that is, but,
I do. Yeah.
he was just, like, a very quiet dude, and, like, so I had no one to talk to my entire training time there because he just, like, didn't wanna talk. So, like, I don't know, I just, like, kinda secluded, and so, like, everything was set up for me to just, like, hate it, and I already hate, like, computer work, like, that's not me. So, like, there was no redeeming qualities at all. The most redeeming thing was, like, alright, whenever I get off, I can drink, you know what I mean? And so, like, that's what I do, and, me and Brooke had a lot of fun on our off time, and I feel like I was a different person outside of work, but work itself, like, I just felt like I don't know, unliked, I guess, the whole time, which, like, I changed that. After I got sober, like, I was like, "Fuck it, I don't care what anyone thinks," you know? And I didn't have that anxiety, like, sitting on me anymore, you know? Which was nice, like, I was like, "Fuck it, like, you can hate me, you can talk about the things that I used to do, like, it doesn't matter. I'm about to be out of here, and, like, I'm gonna be nice to you guys, you can be nice to me if you want to. It doesn't matter to me," you know? And, like, that was a beautiful thing. Getting sober was, like, the most freeing thing for my soul ever. Like, alcohol had me entrapped in, like, this constant anxiety, like, just trying to run away from my problems with alcohol where,
Yeah.
like, I was like, "I hate work, I hate the people there, I hate everything," you know? And, and like alcohol is the one redeeming thing. But once you don't have that, it wasn't even like I hated alcohol so much at that point. Like it was just like it was so easy to stop. I was like, this has ruined my life. Like it makes me feel like shit. And like
Yeah.
I just stopped, and then all of a sudden, like I didn't have that horrible crutch. It was good.
So what led up to you like to you making the decision to go to rehab?
Um, I I got in trouble at work. We had some admin day.
This is
Uh,
after you went to Europe, or
yes, yep.
okay. So you
So
were on a deployment for like 6 months to Romania, right? And then
yeah,
you came back. Okay.
yeah. Romania was so should I, yeah, yeah, we'll get back to Romania, I guess. But yeah, so for this we started having like admin days uh for some reason. Like I guess we were getting ready for like deployment ready schedule. So we'd have random admin days where we weren't supposed to technically work, but like we were just supposed to check our emails for like 8 hours straight and then go to the gym at some point. Like, so I like, I was like, I could probably sneak out of here. So like, I straight up just like left. I already didn't have a computer on the main floor. I was like in the back, like training floor, the old training floor. And like, uh, I was like, no, like it had been hours and like I was just hungover as shit. So I just went home. And was like, fuck it. Like I just don't give a shit. Like, what are these admin days even for? Like, there's no point to them. Like, we're not even doing work and we're doing these admin days all the time. Like, I could be spending time at home. So I just left. I mean, pretty stupid move. But then they were like, where are you at? I was like already drunk at home and like passed out, by the time they figured out that I wasn't there. So then someone knocks on my door and is like, hey, and I was so confused. Like, I had just passed out. And they were like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, why are you here?" It's like, "Oh, I was tired or whatever." So then I'm in trouble, and like I already had a reputation for being an alcoholic at the squadron. You know what I mean? Like everyone knew I was like a miserable drunk person. You know what I mean? Like that was my persona. It was like that guy looks like he's hungover as fuck every single day, and he's gotten in trouble a few times for it. Like it's obviously alcohol. Like I wore it so hard on my face that I drank like crazy. Which I did. Like I really, really drank a lot. It was like suicidally drinking every single
Mhm.
night. It was horrible, and painful. And then like, I don't know how I got to work every single day on time and like just toughed through the day. I remember staring at my computer, feeling like my fucking eyeballs were going to fall out of the sockets, like just staring at these screens, like horrible headache, just awful, dude. I hated being there so much. I hated it at the end.
I think what my saving grace was is that I rode a bicycle to work, and it was like by the time I got there, I was like worked off the hangover somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Fuck. Hold on. Hold on. What's going on?
Could take a break for a second.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
I'm back.
All right. So yeah. So what made me stop was, yeah, basically I got called into the shirts office after leaving work, and like they were like, why did you leave? They kept pressing me, like, why'd you leave? And my excuse was like, I had to go pick up Brooke from the bars or something. She'd gone out that night or whatever. And I was like, I didn't think anything was going on. So like I went to go pick her up. And then they were like, well, we think that, you need to go to ADAP, basically, or we're going to send you there. It's like, okay. I had already, me and Brooke were already fighting all the time about how much I was drinking. Like, ADAPT was something that I had
I know.
intended on doing at some point. Yeah.
Mm.
I really like needed to go to ADAPT, and me and Brooke would talk about it all the time. Like, it was in a rough place. So this was like, I was like, okay, like this is it. I have to go, and it's time. And yeah, I guess it wasn't like some magical like moment, like I saw God or something. It was like I got to get sober, but like I was ready. You know, I had been ready for a long time to be sober. I just couldn't. I was just so stuck in addiction. Like, you know, like I needed to just check myself into ADAPT a long time ago, you know?
You're listening to KEEP in the Keep. If you love this show and you love supporting indie video games, please take a moment to check out In the Keep's upcoming Stellar Valkyrie. Built in the GZ Doom engine, this retro first-person shooter puts you in the universe of space bird bounty hunter Falco, who is on a mission to save his ex-girlfriend from the evil Black Star cult. Just type birdgame.space, that's BIRD game.space into your browser. Hit enter, smash the wishlist button, and stay tuned.
But yeah, that was it. So I went and I just told them, like, at this point, I wasn't trying to get out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd gotten out of ADAPT once before because I like went out to go get some food with Brooke, and like, so this was earlier whenever we were in Tucson. We went out on a date or whatever, and I drank a couple IPAs, and then like went back on base, and they were like, "You've been drinking," so I got like this like DUI, but not really a DUI. Like it's like an on base record thing, but it was off my record really quick. But during that, like I lied. I was like, I don't drink that much. Like honestly, I was just like, you know, going to get some food with, you know, my girlfriend, and I drank a couple of beers and came back. And they're like, oh, that's relatable, you know, like, you know, we're just gonna like get you in a little bit of trouble. So that was that. So like I got out of ADAPT completely then, because I was like, oh, I really don't drink that much, you know.
ADAPT is, by the way, like for the folks listening, like we've said a few terms here that I think need to be defined. So a shirt is a first sergeant in Air Force terminology, and so it's like the highest ranking NCO that's supposed to be the liaison between enlisted members and the officer corps. So they're basically like they're the one who makes recommendations to the commanding officer on behalf of all of the rest of the enlisted members. And then ADAPT is basically like the Air Force's version of Alcoholics Anonymous or like Narcotics Anonymous. So it's like a drug or alcohol program for service members. So it's not like a punitive thing. It's like a try to help you get better thing. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Although it does feel like a punishment when it happens. But
yeah. So so the second time, you know, like the first time I got out of it completely, like I didn't have to stop drinking or anything. And then the second time I was like flat out like, this is how much I drink, you know, like fuck it. I'm ready to get better, you know. And they're like, based on what you're telling us, I think you need to go to a rehab, or they called it like a something else. I don't know. Because
Palo Alto.
Rehab has like a
Palo Verde.
Or no, they call it like a well, I was just saying like they call it like you're going to a facility. I don't know.
Inpatient.
Something that doesn't sound like rehab, you know what I mean? Because they were like that's bad connotation or whatever. I don't care. Like it is what it is, you know.
Did you go to Palo Alto or Palo Verde or whatever
I
the fuck
did.
it's called?
So this is what's crazy. So because it wasn't even in what's it called? Inpatient, whatever. Yeah, it wasn't even that. It was like legit. Like they were sending me off for like a month or two, you know, like however long it takes until I feel better. Which I was already over alcohol. Like I didn't even need that really. And I was like, I don't think I need. Like I already like don't want to get in trouble. I've already made peace with not drinking. Like I don't think I need to go to rehab. They're like, we recommend you to. And they're like, you don't have to, but you can get out of work. And I hated work so fucking bad. I was like, I'm going. They were like, you get paid vacation, like out of work. And I was just so done. I was so ready to be out of the military that I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, this will be nice. I'm sure there's something I can learn from this and like talk to counselors and stuff. And so I was like, okay, yeah, like I'll go. So I got a call for a facility that could take me. Dude, this is actually a fucked up story. So I at the time I was drinking so much, and like I would also, yeah. So I would just like I'd get off work, I'd eat a bunch of food, and then I'd drink myself like so many beers, and then I'd end up getting sick a lot, and because of that, the the facility that was going to take me said that they couldn't because I got sick from drinking so much. So I had to go to an eating disorder place
Mhm.
in LA, which is, dude, that was not where I needed to go at all. Like the people that were there, it was in LA. Like it was literally like these like women and men that they don't eat because they're afraid of bananas, literally. Like
Mhm.
Uh, and I was like, I don't have an eating disorder. I'm just an alcoholic." And they're like, "Okay." They didn't believe me at first at this facility
Right.
because they're like, "Oh, everyone probably says that." But I was like, just kept eating all the food. I was like, "Oh, I don't usually eat bananas, but I'll eat a banana today, prove that I can eat a banana," like, and I just kept doing all the stuff we'd get like it's crazy, like, these people wouldn't eat takeout because they're afraid of, like, what's in takeout food, like, like, fast food and all this stuff, and it's weird. I met, like, a lot of really nice people. There's this one guy that's from the army that was in there. He got addicted to, like, TikTok trends, like, he kept, like he did this, like, transition thing of, like, him going from, like, being super, like, fat to, like, buff, and then he, like, just kept getting addicted to losing weight and getting skinny, and then he needed to go there. But I was like I don't he was really nice, like, we were buds because we were both just, like, military folk there, um, but yeah, like, a lot of people with, like, crazy trauma, which I honestly feel like I've had a blessed life, like, some people I'm somewhere in the middle, like, of, like, my I guess my upbringing had its fucked up moments, but also, like, it wasn't crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I had nothing I really wanted to share necessarily that was, like, deep to me or, like, I'm sure there's a lot of subconscious things that go through my head because of my upbringing, but, there was this girl that would, like, dissociate on the couch, which I don't know if you've ever seen anyone dissociate before,
Mhm.
but it's crazy. Like, it's just scary. Like, she'd be sitting there, and then all of a sudden, she'd get quiet and just stare off, and then she would melt down and, like, cry forever, and, like, you just feel so bad. Whatever I don't know, her story is crazy, but I don't know. It was just wild, like, that's not where I was supposed to be, and then finally after, like, 3 weeks, they were like, "Okay, like, we need to get you to, like, somewhere else, like, you're ruining this for everyone else." Not really, but, like, I didn't have a problem, and everyone else was wanting to talk about their eating disorder problem, and I'm like, I'm just an alcoholic, like, that's all I've got for me here, so, um yeah, no, I liked it there a lot, like, we all got along really well, and stuff, it's just, like, I didn't have an eating disorder, so but, towards the end, they let me, like, go on runs, where people couldn't even go on walks because people are so addicted to, like, losing weight and stuff like that, like, it's a real disorder of theirs, but I was like, "I'm in the military, like, I gotta train and stuff," which this is what I hate, my rehab experience was robbed from me because I could've, like I wasn't allowed to smoke because smoking is like, keeps you from being hungry, keeps you like satiated, I guess. And like I couldn't go on walks, like I was saying, like or work out, you know, and like most rehabs, like you get to work out, you get to smoke, and like like some sort of vice. Uh, and like it's like it's more ca- catered towards that. So it kinda sucked, but, it's also in LA. I got to run around this, like, neighborhood that was all, like, you know, $2 million homes, like, beautiful, which was cool, but I don't know, it's all sort of embarrassing, but, it's just I mean, that's just what it was. Uh, and, got out of it. I really they asked me, like, after the 3 weeks, like, most people go for, like, maybe 2 months to rehab or something like that, but after the 3 weeks, I was like, I'm not supposed to be here, and I really don't wanna go to another rehab facility and start this all over again, like, can I just go home? So,
Yes.
I just went home, and, I was good. you know? I just started working out like I wanted to. I gained like a shit ton of weight, muscle, which was awesome. I was like freaking buff, dude. Like I don't even know how I gained that weight. Dude, I eat like a maniac right now and I cannot gain any weight anymore. I think it's just drinking. Like this is literally what I weighed in high school. This is like what my body naturally wants to weigh. But like for a while, I think my body was getting used to the alcohol. Like I'm sure some of my organs were like fixing themselves, you know, and now I just have a crazy fast metabolism and it doesn't matter how much I eat, like I can't gain weight. So, and that's pretty cool. Like, sure you're kind of the same, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I like I never get like I don't know. There have been times when I got kind of fat, but it was mostly just because I was drinking like too much beer or whatever and not working out enough. But I've always been about the same size. I think I was really skinny in high school until I started wrestling, and then got like more muscly. But I mean, for the most of the time you knew me too, I was like I wasn't lifting weights. I was just running. Like I was like, my job is not to lift heavy things. My job is to run a mile and a half really fast. So that's all I did. Um, but yeah, there've been times when I had like a little beer gut or whatever, but not anymore. I've looked sexy. Every time I take my shirt off now, I'm like, you are just gorgeous. I just love you. I'm like, I just want to
Same,
eat you
bro.
up.
Yeah, I feel the same. Yeah, dude, I'm literally like 5% body fat right now, which is crazy.
Mm.
Which it seems wrong. I don't know. But like I've gone to the doctor, I got blood work done. I was like, I'm skinny. What's wrong with me? Like it's so abnormal. I lost 60 pounds like really fast.
You just don't think about how many calories are in alcohol. Like people just skip right over
Yeah.
that shit. Like, you know,
And
it's like,
when you're drinking that much, yeah, like one shot of vodka is like 100 calories, you know,
yeah,
and you drinking a whole fifth, you know, that's a shit ton of calories.
that
And it's
Deep
like the
Eddy's
worst.
lemon vodka too, like or
Yeah.
whatever. Like just,
And it's like toxic calories too, like
yeah.
just visceral fat and shit. And, so I think because I had some weight on me from drinking. I think I was able to gain weight still at that time. So like I racked up the pounds like purposely. And that was my addiction that, you know, I didn't have alcohol anymore. So I'd spend like 4 hours in the gym and just work out. I became a personal trainer. It just like was, you know, that was like the only thing I did basically until baby was born. So yeah, and then baby, but I don't know, we could probably cover some other things. The deployment.
Yeah, let's talk
wild.
about Romania and then we'll get to a little Benito.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Romania was probably one of that was I had so much fun, honestly. Like it's kind of like shitty. Like I probably should have taken my job more seriously and stuff, but like I had a lot of fun. I had friends out there for the first time. Like I had such a bad time at the hub. Like it felt so good to have friends. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I didn't talk to. I mean, I was friends with like you and a lot of people, but for a while, like after you had left and stuff like that, like I was just kind of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, and you know,
That's like the
it's
hardest part I think about being stationed somewhere you don't like is that like you have people you're really close to and eventually they just leave and you're like
yeah,
so like I mean before you guys I had John Malachi, it was my guy.
yeah,
And then when he left I was just like lost for a long time. I was like I don't have any friends here. Like it sucks.
yep,
Um
and
but I think I was a lot more comfortable just occupying my time. Like when I was at home I was working, you know, on in the keep and stuff. So
yeah, you had a lot of stuff going on, which is good.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and you like get so close with the people that you deploy with too. I mean, I didn't deploy. I mean, I didn't really get close with Leahy or you know, Sergeant Lapp. I'm not saying them, but
I went
the
to
other
her
people.
retirement ceremony, actually.
Really,
Yeah.
I think
Completely by coincidence, I had gone to Tucson for like a little vacation when Faith and I were first dating. And it just, I got there, it happened to be on the day of Sergeant Lapp's going away. So I went and
yeah, it's funny because I probably gave Sergeant Lapp so much hell from being there, but I think Sergeant Lapp kind of got me and like kind of liked me, you know, as a person. Like
she's a good one. She liked broken toys and, you know,
yeah,
people who were a little crazy.
for sure. And so like that was kind of cool. Like I feel like she always looked at, like, even after we got back from deployment, and I was like, just a shitty person there, probably. And she still would talk to me all the time and like enjoyed seeing me, genuinely.
Yeah.
Which was cool. Like, she was cool. Leahy hated my fucking guts. Uh, I did so
I miss that
much.
guy.
Yeah, we got along at first, but like it got nuts. It's funny. I set him up with this like I don't even know if he knows this now. I think he sort of does, but he yeah, there's this friend of mine and she found him on Tinder, and I was like, "Oh, that's Leahy." And I was like, just swipe right on him." And she swiped right, and they matched, and I was like, "You should fuck him." Which is, like, messed up. I mean, it's just, like, I don't know. But Leahy had no idea that I basically set that up for him, and, like, that was his first time getting laid in a long time. Like, literally a long time, and he told her that, and then she told me all the things that she told him, and it was just bad, like, I don't know, it was really bad, but, like, I got him laid, though, I mean, so but it was kinda nuts, like, he had no idea, like, he thought it was just some random Romanian chick, but, like, I was like, "You should, swipe right on him." I don't know, but, yeah, pretty wild stuff. I had so much fun, like, there's this guy, Don, that we hung out, like, all the time. Once he left, it kinda sucked, but we'd go out, to Cluj, which is like it's probably 30 minutes north of where we stayed. We stayed at Turda. It's literally like a turd hole. Like, it's a pretty small place, but it was all cool.
I love Eastern Europe. It reminds me of
Yeah.
like Mississippi and Alabama. Like this, it
Yeah.
reminds me of the American South. It's like the people are just real.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
completely agree, and I
they're
liked it a
soulful.
lot.
Yeah,
People talk shit on Romania because it's kinda like old style, like, I don't know, like, stuck in old ways, I guess, but it was cool. Like, you could just go fishing if you wanted to there and, like, whatever, there's a lot of, like, just uh, open lands, and you go on hikes and stuff. I went on some cool hikes. Hold on, I'm gonna grab a hoodie real quick. That good? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, but, I had a lot of fun. Some things I wouldn't even bring up in this podcast, just wild, like, times, Uh, it was truly, like, but it was a lot of fun, you know? Just going to Europe is, like, a treat, always. Uh, but yeah, being there for a long time is also kinda shitty.
I think it. I would not, knowing what I now know, want to live anywhere in Europe. But if I had to live in Europe, if I had to pick a place, I mean, I really, really, really love the Netherlands. I like the culture. I like the people. I like the way they do business. They're very assertive, very direct, straightforward. They don't fuck around about nothing. I like it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's
and
hard.
then
Oh, yeah, go
I
go
like
ahead.
just Eastern Europe in general. Like I loved the time that I spent in like Slovakia and Czechia, and like that area is amazing.
Yeah,
Germany, I could do without. I like a lot of German people, but I wouldn't live in Germany, and I wouldn't live in Scandinavia. I did for the time that I did, and it's not like I dislike it necessarily. It's just like if I'm optimizing for what culture makes me the most happy, it is not Scandinavia. They're
yeah.
too insular. They're too like they keep to themselves too much, which I
I think
respect, but it's not for me. Like I need to
for
talk to
sure.
people. I want my neighbors to like wave at me when I walk down the road and stuff. Like that makes me happy.
Yeah. I think that's a hard thing about, if you're to be like in your case where you're an American and you go try to live somewhere else, like I feel like it's hard to get away from home, you know what I mean? Even in the
Mhm.
Vegas uh like sense of that, like where you could just live anywhere in America and feel more like comfortable, I guess, than you do anywhere in Europe mostly. Like, and it's just like little things, you know what I mean? That just like America is just like it just feels like home, it's hard to like be away from permanently, I would think. I think some people do, but I mean, I know a lot of people do, but I think I don't know, you have to be a certain type of person like I had a great time there, but to just like be like I'm just gonna live in Europe, I feel
Mhm.
like I would be giving up something like inside of me a little bit. That's just like leaving what I know is home and what I'm comfortable with. Like, um, but I don't know. It's also tempting. I mean, politics are freaking crazy right now.
They're worse in Europe.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. No,
That's the thing is like
not
I have
everywhere.
so many people tell me like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go live somewhere else other than America." And I said exactly the same thing, and I'm like, "No, you don't want that. It's worse." It's like we know who our evil presidents are, and they're like a bunch of countries with their own individual presidents that are equivalent to like our governors, and then the most of the decisions about policy get made in Brussels by, the European Union that they have no say in, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is worse. It's fucking terrible." Like, there's so many issues over there, like, with just the sheer amount of immigration from the wars going on and
Yeah,
stuff, and, like, people are, they're it's exactly the same complaints that you hear in America, but they feel even more helpless to do anything about it.
that's
Um,
true.
like,
Yeah.
England is depressing. I like England and I like the people in England, but like what they're dealing with is just horrendous, and I couldn't do it. Couldn't live there if I had to. I guess. Guess I could live anywhere if I had to. But
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, Europe's like charming, and I just feel like the actual people in Europe, I feel like are like smart generally, and like just like kind of charming folks. Where I feel like America's lost a lot of that, but it depends on who you talk to and where you go. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, if you're hanging out next to a liberal arts college in California or New Jersey or some shit, you're gonna have a
Yeah.
certain type of people. And if you're, but for me, it's like I live in Columbia, South Carolina. I walk outside. There's other people like me. We all get along. We all have basically the same values, and it's like a basically a cookie cutter neighborhood. So I'm about to, be just like everybody else, pushing my stroller down the street, going to the pool, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude, yeah, we gotta definitely talk about dad stuff, you know? I know it kinda
yeah.
dove into my past and whatnot, but
No,
dude,
it was good to get
I
all
mean,
that.
I
Yeah.
guess that leads up to fatherhood now and where I'm at, and then where
So
you're
you
about
and
to be at.
you and Brooke were like power couple the whole time I knew y'all, and y'all dated for so long, and then it was like when you finally decided to have. Well, did you decide to have a baby or did it? Okay.
I hope Benny
So
never sees this. Yeah. You're gonna be the wild uncle to Benny one day, and then we're gonna pull this podcast up, but
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
You can always bleep this out, but no, I'm kidding, but yeah, he wasn't necessarily planned, but we also never tried not to have kids, like, we weren't really afraid of it. We were at that point in our relationship where, like, anything really went like, if we had a kid, great, which, like, I'm surprised she was comfortable with that. I was always sorta down to have a kid, honestly, like, and I'm so glad that we did, like, my life has changed. Like, you know how I said, like, I've always had kind of a low, like, uh, idea of myself or something, you know?
Mhm.
I feel like being a dad has, like, given me so much purpose in life, like, it is, it's pretty awesome. Like, I feel like if, if anything, I've got my son to just try to raise and be the best person he can be, and, I don't know, it's crazy. Once they're born, they literally, like, it is a different world all of a sudden, which you're about to experience, like, it's just the world is a different place, I feel like. That's the best way to explain it. Like, um, yeah, everything was just different instantly. Like, whenever you just look at them and you're like, "Holy shit, this is my kid," you know? And, like, I mean, of course, everything's gonna change, like, you can't just leave them somewhere, like, obviously. Like, the rest of your life, you're lugging this around, this baby, you know? And not even in a bad way, but, like, it's really a lot of responsibility, and it's important. Like, it's an important job to raise a human being, Like, they can turn out to be a freaking mass murderer, or they can turn out a president, you know what I mean? Or somewhere in the middle. You're just aiming for somewhere in the middle, You wanna cover all the right bases, give enough attention, be starting when you have to be, like, all these things, and I'm reading books on the so there's this one. how to raise a strong-minded child or something like that.
Mm.
I forget, but it's really good. It's these two. It's this uh like uh neuroscientist and then this psychologist talking about like the and they're just like meshing like how to raise a child based on like like statistics and stuff like that. So I'm just reading that. Like I feel like um honestly I feel like this is got to be one of the best day and ages to raise a child as far as knowledge goes. Like I feel like you could just get a baby and you're just doing what your mom did or something like that. But we can literally break from what our families did by just watching YouTube videos and reading books. I mean, I guess there's always books out there, but there's so much new knowledge that's out here of how to raise children, like, and, I mean, for all we know, like science could change again, but, I think it's a cool time, especially because there's going to be a lot of parents that don't try, and to be a parent that does try and like I feel like it's gonna go further than like your kid has the potential to go way further in life, if you really put in the time and effort. Because people just don't care anymore, or they don't want the kids in the first place because they can't afford them and all this stuff. And it's just like it just leads to horrible parenting or just not parenting at all, And just having all this knowledge, I feel like, and just putting in a little bit of effort into it, like I feel like it can go a long way,
Yeah. I don't
But
know. I'm really not worried about it. Like, I think I had that initial, like, month or so of being, oh my god, I got about it," but I don't feel, like, unequipped, so to
well,
speak, like
I didn't worry about it at all for the longest time. Like, and I really had no worries about it. Brooke was just pregnant, and that's just how it was. It was just me and her. Uh, but it's after they're born, I feel like you're like, oh shit, like they're real. Like all of a sudden it's you, your girl, and then the baby too, and it's like, man, like what am I like? You don't realize how much you just don't know how to do. Like there's so much to learn. Like instantly, you're like, okay, you're trying to feed the baby and, like, just feeding the baby is really hard. It's gotta eat so many calories per day so it can grow, and, like, I mean, that sounds easy, but that's actually, like, hard, dude. Babies are hard to feed, and Benny was premature, so it was, like, pretty difficult. He had to have a tube for a while, and we were going to the NICU every day. But after that, you take them home, and you're like, "Oh, am I really, like can I really take this baby home?" Like, I don't feel like we should. Like, I don't know. It's just, like, a scary thing. Like, they're just
yeah.
they're so fragile, and, like, it's scary, like, you're gonna mess something up, or you're gonna sleep, and they're gonna be crying, and you'll just sleep right through it or something. Like, I mean, that probably wouldn't happen, but some people sleep in separate rooms from their babies, is what my mom did, I guess, but, I mean, most people sleep right next to their kid now, but even
I
then,
feel
like, are they,
like a lot of folks
suffocating or
who, like, don't have other babies, like, in their family or around them a lot, it's, like, overwhelming, like, I don't know what to do, but I have so many nieces and nephews, and I grow up with so many, like, little brothers and stuff that I feel like I know how to take care of a baby. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
Well,
I realize that
the
it's
easy part.
complicated, but it's not that fucking difficult. It's like, you pick them up, you fucking you don't let their head drop off, you burp them after you feed them. Like, it's they just want attention, and they're pretty straightforward to
Yeah.
me. But I
Well,
have, like, been around so many babies, whereas I think my wife is gonna struggle more because she nobody in her family has a baby, you know what I mean?
see,
Like, she didn't
that
grow up
was
around that.
that was exactly how it was for me and Brooke. I felt like I was getting it really quickly, and
Yeah.
she was like, "Why can't I do this?" And even now, like I had to watch Benny a lot while she was in the military, and like me and Benny bonded, like we were like best friends, and and she was just like, "I'm not getting," like she was like, "I feel," you know, and it's hard, like she wasn't making a connection with Benny, well, like she was, but it wasn't the same as, like, what me and Benny had. Like, she couldn't put him to bed without him losing his mind, where be like, "Just give me baby," And then I'd go set him down, instantly falls asleep. Like,
Yeah.
we just had this, like, connection, me and Benny, But it's just overwhelm like, you're so tired at first, and it's like and then you don't get a break for like the first month for sleep, which is the hardest part is that you're trying to function and like you're trying to make this baby stop crying, like, you know, and it's just like, there are times where nothing is working, and you're just sitting there and the thing is, it's not that it's hard, it's that your nerves are up here, you
Yeah.
know, like you're just like, you know, like it's so much work at first and you're so tired, and like, and the baby just won't stop crying, and like, yeah, it's just hard, that's where, you know, parents do horrible things, if you're not a good person. It's I mean, that's why it drives people to shake babies, and it's fucked up, but it's hard. It's hard, and that's why people do it. They get frustrated, I don't sympathize with it, but I like that's why, because it is like your nerves are just so high, and it's just difficult. It's you're tired uh and yeah, it's just constant. Like it's constant because at first especially they'll wake up every couple hours, like through the night. So you're just constantly getting up. Uh and Yeah, it's just like it just doesn't they don't get a decent sleep until like 3 months in. Until then you're just like, suffering. But also our son he had colic. So like he was throwing up all the time, so that wasn't good. Like he couldn't keep his food down. So that was a big struggle for us. And then he wasn't latching onto Brooke because he was in the NICU for so long. So like feeding in general is just really difficult. But and that was our case. Like Benny was just kind of a difficult baby, I think for a lot of reasons, you know. Just yeah, he had colic, and yeah, he was in the NICU so long, so that kind of like halted a lot of things for us trying to feed him because he was too small to feed like just breastfeed instantly. So yeah. So we never really did. That would be the dream if like Brooke could have just popped him on and then fed him and then that was it. But like it was always this whole feeding him was such a difficult thing every 3 hours. Like, oh man. So, I pray you don't have to go through anything like that. Specifically. I mean, it's gonna be hard in its own way, but that was tough. Yeah. You know what colic is?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We have like the little anti-colic bottles already
Nice.
and all
Yep.
that stuff. But
Yeah, we
I
did
mean,
everything we could, and it just didn't help. He was just as long as he was on his back, he would just all over his
yeah,
face,
I feel like you just have to like let all the anxiety go and just kind of like accept things as they come and just
Yeah.
respond. Like it's almost like a kung fu like kind of thing. Where just be like water and just respond as
No,
you
that's
get.
where I
Yeah,
ended up getting to. I was like, I can't handle all these nerves. Like I have to just find inner peace,
yeah,
And I think that's whenever me and Benny started clicking because they can feel you. Like the babies,
mhm,
it is, there's like a science that can't be explained, but it is like it's like telepathy or something, or like just vibes or whatever,
yeah.
It's like the baby can pick up on things like that,
Have
And
you listened to that podcast, the telepathy tapes yet?
dude, my friend was telling me about that. I want to check it out. Yeah, where they're yeah, dude, they're
Very
like
interesting.
kids are like have or like severely autistic or something and the way that they communicate, like somehow they know what they're I need to watch that, dude. I'm gonna write that down again.
Yeah, it's very like I'm not gonna say it's 100% convincing because there's always ways that you can, fuck around with shit. But if
Yeah.
everything they're saying is on a level, then it's like the idea here is that these kids genuinely have like the ability to, like their mom could be in a different room with the doors closed and think something or have a cue card, and the kid will just know right off the bat what they're talking about.
Dude, I believe it. Like
Yeah.
you get to a certain point with your baby where like you just like you obviously can't communicate with them for so long, but you end up knowing the slightest thing and being like, okay, they aren't just hungry, they want this as well, or they're uncomfortable and like you can pick up on it. Like even now, like I'm telling you, this is so weird, but I'll wake up in the middle of the night, um and like on my own, and then all of a sudden baby will also be up. Like we're like connected in the brain,
Mhm.
It's really strange. But like I have these moments with Benny all the time where like he can pick up how I feel from different places, and truly like it's like uncanny. It's strange.
Aside from like, the infant raising part of it, like what is your kind of vision of the future for, education and all that stuff? Like how do you think you're gonna go about that?
Yeah, so the book I'm reading right now is really cool. Just how to, have a strong-minded kid. Basically, like, um, I don't want to just be like they can do whatever they want, and you don't want to do that necessarily. Like, it goes into like, the lack of parenting is also parenting. You know what I mean? Any form of parenting, you can't just not do anything and be like, oh, it'll be fine. Like you have to do something, And it was talking about how like you have to teach kids to learn their own mistakes. So like you can't do their homework for them, and then like if they don't do it last minute, you have to let them fail. Like it's affordable like failures for the kid, so that they know, oh, I have to do my homework or else I fail this class and I'm embarrassed and I have to go back to the grade prior. So you have to like you have to be like, well, it's up to you. You can do your homework or not, but you just have to pay the consequences for that. So like it's a way of they learn by their mistakes. So it's not a way that like um you know uh where you're not like a helicopter parent, but you're also like you're trying to teach them valuable lessons that they can teach themselves so that they can be independent, basically. So that's what I want to do, and you know, and obviously just have a really fun, like probably sporty relationship with Benny and music for sure. Like I feel like he's going to get into something really cool really early because that's just the type of people that me and Brooke are. We rock climb, we snowboard, I have a whole band room in my house. Like I'm thinking he's going to be a drummer. Personally, is what I
Mm,
think. He just has that kind of a, you know,
you got a
you
rhythm.
just see yeah, he does, he's dancing, like I was telling you, he shakes his ass.
Mm.
The Veggie Tales. Uh,
You're listening to KEEP in the Keep. Whatever happened to the good old days when computer role-playing games spent more time telling great stories than stressing you out with season passes and needless grinding? Call of Ragnar is our effort to bring back the best in RPGs. Play in the immersive world as two friends adventure into a murder mystery that lands them in the middle of a battle between gods. Head over to callofsaregnar.com. That's call of SAREGNAR.com for more info. And be sure to wishlist on Steam.
but no, yeah, like I feel like he's gonna be a little drummer kid, and um, he yeah, I think he's gonna be really sporty, into some like cool sports. I always love sports, and he seems like he already loves climbing things, like, and he seems sort of athletic. I mean, I'm his dad, like I'm like he's a freaking but he seems like he'll be good at some stuff, hopefully, or like I'm just excited to get him involved in stuff and basically let him choose what comes naturally to him. But like I feel like something that my parents didn't do was like get me involved in so many things. I always had to do it on my own. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm interested in this," which like is good, but also like I wish I would have like had a guitar earlier, maybe. I'd always wanted one and I didn't get one until like way later. Like I just have guitars laying around, which I didn't have in my house. Like he could literally just come downstairs and be like, I just want to mess around and take it as far as he wants to. Like, it's not that I'm going to force him to do anything. It's just that it's all there already. It's already things that me and Brooke go and do. Like, we already like going to snowboard, and like we like going climbing and doing stuff like this. So it's just like whatever he gravitates towards, we're just going to like encourage that as much as possible, And not make it like a stern thing for him, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was listening to, I think it was Rick Beato, the music producer, and he was talking about like he has this theory that like if you expose a kid like really really early, like in the first 8 or 9 months of their life or whatever, to all of the different tones and sounds, like even of different languages, but of, like musical scales and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so like when you're older and you hear like an Indian scale for the first time, it doesn't make any sense to you. You never heard
Mhm.
anything like it. But if a kid has heard that early in life, that actually, like, even if they don't consciously think about it, it's familiar to them later and they can understand it, or like the tones of like the Chinese language or
Yeah,
Arabic or whatever.
those
So,
book, the I don't know if you ever read it. It's like This Is Your Brain on Music
mm,
or whatever. He goes into depth on like that, and it's pretty cool. Like even in the womb, like they're starting to get their familiarity of like their culture that they're in. Just everything is familiar. Like whatever they're introduced to, like yeah, just like you were saying, like it it will forever be like what they like basically because it's familiar. It's home to them, you know.
yeah, I'll put like my headset on Faith's belly with like Holst the planets or something on, just like make the baby listen to that. And the the kid is like, like the doctors said, every night try to count the kicks. You should get like 10 kicks in 2 hours. I'm like, dude, this kid is getting that in like 5 minutes. Like this little baby is kicking all the
Yep.
time, like
Bass pedal.
ready to get out here and do some life, bro.
Yep. That's how Benny
Which
was. He came out early. He's running, dude. He's ready to start living.
yeah. You gonna do the public school, preschool, all that, or what's the plan?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I would like him to just go to probably a public school. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of reform going on. It seems like in this, like maybe like a charter school or
Mm,
something would be good. Uh, Maybe not necessarily like I don't know if we're gonna pay for him to go to private school. Like, but I just don't. I just had a bad experience with private school personally. Like, it was a cheap little private school that like I feel like robbed my childhood. So
yeah.
not really, but like I just want him to have a normal like kid experience, you know. But like you just hear so much crazy shit that happens in schools, or like they have so many more people they could end up hanging out with that are bad people, you know. Like I guess I mean if you pay for them to go to school, like they have a chance to maybe be around people that have money, which maybe means that they're not like bad. I don't know. I don't know how to judge it. I mean, I don't even think that's necessarily true. They would still get in trouble, you know? Like I would rather like probably the public school system if we're in but like just going to a part of the city that we think is good, you know? But that's tough. Like I already hate thinking about it
Yeah.
because that's just a hard thing. It really is.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth on it. We have different opinions, I guess, about what's important. Um, I'm definitely like not trying to limit any kind of social behavior. Like, I think you should meet as many different people as you can and get to know them and all that. I've always liked crazy people, so it's not necessarily what I'm trying to get away from. But I think being surrounded by other people who actually like have ambition is good, as opposed to like
100%.
my public school experience was just like I didn't learn anything in school. I learned how to, like, skip class and fucking smoke weed and shit, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing either. I kinda wanna, at least early on, do, like, homeschool because I'm like, I'm at home, like, I'm here, so
Yeah.
it's like, it's not that hard to do, and not necessarily just, like I feel like when you say homeschool, people picture, like, just sitting in your room with a fucking worksheet or whatever, but I wanna do, like, one of those kinda like co-op programs where, like, it's a bunch of different parents, and you take them on field trips and do sports and stuff, but also,
Yeah.
like, have more control over what they get taught. Because the last thing I want is for, like, spending all this money to send a kid to school and they're, like, not learning anything.
Yeah.
And then with like, the biggest thing is, like, Faith was like, "Well, I mean, you don't even have, like, a degree in teaching." I'm like, "I don't need a fucking degree in teaching to be smarter than a 5th grade teacher." Like, all I need to teach 5th grade is a 6th grade education. Like, but I don't know.
And
I mean, I've got a long time to think about it.
yeah, that's exactly how I feel. That's a tough one. And Brooke's family, like wants him like Brooks' stepdad Jer. He like wants to homeschool Benny, and it's just funny. Like he's just a funny guy. I mean, he definitely could. He's smart, you know.
Mm.
I just don't know. I wanted to like have competitive like sports and stuff like that. It's tough though. Like my idea is if I can build my son on a solid foundation, I would hope that he would surround himself by people that are like him, you know? Because
Yeah.
he wouldn't even relate to something that was foreign to him in that way, you know? But like kids are, you just never know. It could be just, it's like the butterfly effect, just something small happens and it leads him to this person and this person's a piece of shit, you know? And then like he goes down, he's in prison, something like that, you know? Like it's
Yeah.
tough. And I think at some point you just have to like, you just have to try all that you can do is just raise them and get them to have your foundation built in them, you know, so that they can carry that and know right from wrong and truly believe it. And not like, and you have to do that at such a young age to like get them to not rebel against you, but like learn from their mistakes and then be able to share your wisdom with them and them actually soak it in, you know, and, I feel like, and like, I don't know, I'm not like a pro at anything. Like I didn't go to school for child psychology, you know, like I don't know. Like I don't know if it'll be successful, but I mean, I guess as we get to that point, we'll just have to pull the trigger on something. I would say initially at the young ages, I don't think it matters too much where they go. I wouldn't think like all kids are fairly innocent, even if they're not, like they're just saying cuss words and shit and like pushing people down. But like, it's not like they're like, all right, I'm 5 years old and I'm smoking meth out back or anything. Like,
There's definitely like, there's that side of things, and then there's the other side of things where it's like you would be blown away what kids are getting into. Like there's,
it's true.
fucking elementary school kids like having sex and shit and like
True.
smoking cigarettes and all kinds of craziness. And it's like that's the last thing I want. I'm like, no, I don't want that. And I fucking hate like a lot of public schools now are like they're talking about sex shit like way too early with kids.
Yep.
I'm like,
I
dude,
100% agree.
the last thing that should be on a 6-year-old's mind is like, how do I sexually identify? I'm like, shut the fuck up. Teach
I
them
know.
how to do their math. Like
Yeah.
we
I
should be
feel
talking about chopping down cherry trees right now, not
Yep.
yeah.
Well, I feel exactly the same about that. Like that is one thing that bugs me a lot. Like why, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's just yeah, I hate it. And um but yeah, well, I don't know, Trump's doing something. I don't know what he's doing, but
He's
I
doing
would
something.
I would think after what he you know, have you seen that video where he's like, "There's only 2 genders, male and female." I wouldn't
Yeah.
think that he would, uh I would think that, you know, with this whole school reform that he's doing, that would at least be cut out, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
we'll
you
see
don't
where
know
that
how long
goes.
it's gonna last, you know? Yeah, I know. There's a lot of crazy shit going on, but, uh, yeah, no, I feel the same way. That is tough, and I just want a kid to be a kid, and yeah, like even, like, you know, whenever they started sex education in school, they saw an instant spike in teen pregnancies, like, because it was in their heads, you know? And,
I
like,
think I
it's like
was in the 5th grade when they did sex education, and it just freaked me out. I was just like, I don't want this information. I don't wanna know this stuff.
yeah,
I was, like, crying. I was like, "This is just traumatic. Like, stop talking about this. We should be
yeah.
we're supposed to be on the playground." Like, you know, it's just it's insane. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the fucking expert either. I just think that it's like there's some stuff that I would rather me as the parent get to decide how I have that conversation with my child rather than some fucking, weirdo at school who probably doesn't even have sex, like, deciding when my kid is ready for that or whatever, or
Yeah.
it's just weird.
No,
Um,
I totally agree, and, uh yeah, well, I just think if they statistically know that whenever they introduce something like the DARE program or they introduce, like sex education, and then you
mm,
see the numbers spike of people doing drugs and having sex at a young age, you would think so. It's almost like they already know these statistics, and then they still want
Yeah.
to introduce this stuff to kids at such a young age because they want it in their brains, which is
Yeah.
fucking not right.
I don't have it anymore, but somewhere out there is a picture of me, like, in high school with my Dare shirt on, like, smoking a joint, like, like, it was like an irony thing, like, huh, like, so, "I dare to do drugs, bro," like,
And
that's all. I didn't Why do you need to be in school for 8 hours a day? That's the other thing is, like,
true.
it like, you could do, like, all your fucking, with if you just get rid of all the attendance and the marching through the hallways. I had to wear uniforms. I don't know about other people, but, like, we all had to wear uniforms from kindergarten all the way through, and if you just cut out all that bullshit, like, I feel like you could get it all done in, like, 3 or 4 hours and then just like, "Hey, what are you interested in?" Like, "Well, I wanna paint." I'm like, "Alright, well, we're gonna paint for the rest of the day." Yeah, or whatever, and, like, do kid stuff. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and there's so many statistics on even that, like how much school that kids can tolerate, like, and actually learn something from. Like, at some point, it's just a daycare almost for a while, like, just somewhere for kids to be until their parents can get off work. Like, but there's a certain like threshold of how much you can learn. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, like just hitting school hard, and
I don't even do that for my job. Like,
yeah,
I don't fucking work for 8 hours straight
no one
internalized shit. Like,
does.
I just sit down and, like, work when I feel like it and get shit done when the ideas occur to me and, like, if there's a meeting, there's a meeting, but it's
Yeah,
like, who wants to. I know I hated it the whole time, so if, like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna expect my kid to like it.
and you're yeah, and well, and your brain isn't like developed at that age either. Like you can
Yeah.
only take so much. Uh, but I don't know. That is a tough one. That is a really tough one. I don't know about other
Um,
things.
are y'all gonna do, like, church and stuff, or you
Um,
said you're already doing the Veggie Tales, so get that in early
Brooke,
on that.
Brooke plays a lot of Christian stuff, and like I see it as it's probably gonna be like a classic thing where like dad's the cool one. He's like fuck church, and then Brooke's gonna be like we gotta go to church. I don't know. Like like I said, I grew up in church, and like you know, I like that. Like, I feel like I learned a lot about religion in general from being in church, which are stories that you can take with you for whatever you'd want to use these stories for. Whether you want to use the stories from like having a vast knowledge of the Bible so that you can like decide like, okay, I've learned all this. I think I don't want to follow this or something like that. Or like, instead of it being just, like, people who are like, "I'm Christian," and then they don't know anything, they don't ever read the Bible, they don't do any of these things, and they'll just claim it, and it's like this just emotional thing for them where they go to church and cry and,
Yeah.
get into the worship of it or whatever, but it's like it's not based on anything really, it's just emotions where, like, I would like for him to know a lot of stuff about the Bible, for sure. And, like, I think it's always religion is something, you know, that people have just built their, like, foundation on for so long. I think it's technically, like, whatever spirituality is, like, everything, you know what I mean? Like, whatever the world is, I think that, like, you should search in your heart for whatever what all this is, like, what are we here for? What is your purpose? And I think that, religion in the Vegas stance, like, can help you kinda reach that understanding if there's something greater than just me? Um, so I don't know. I will probably go to church. I,
Yeah.
but, I'm not crazy on, like, just Christianity in general. I'm more spiritual now than I ever have been than I have been in a long, long time? Like, I spend a lot of time on my patrol just walking, and, like, praying about my family and stuff, but and I really feel like I have a connection with, like, spirituality, like, or God, or I don't know what to call it because I just don't know. I don't know for a fact, like, you know, but, like, I feel a connection to it. I feel like it speaks to me,
Yeah.
and, I mean, that's just I don't know. I could be skits, but I don't really care. Like, to me, it comforts me, and to me, I get wisdom back from it whenever I ask for wisdom. Whether it's just coincidence that something that I prayed for happens, and then I get shown something because it's just on my mind or something like that. But I truly feel like it's helpful to me. And so I want Benny to be able to have something like that.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I think I want our kid to just like get exposed to all of it. Like, I feel on one hand it was cool. Like I went to church with my dad's side of the family, but my mom was not really into like going to church and stuff. She was like, there was never any like outright atheism or anything, but it was just like, she didn't like organized religion, and I get that. But I definitely want the kid to like just know all of the things that are out there, like all of the like. I'll probably spend just as much time being like, okay, this was Jesus, and this was Buddha, and this is the the Eddas, and this is the Greek mythology, and like you should just know all the stories because they're stories, and like get everything you can from it, and find your own way to understand that. And I'm obsessed with that stuff anyway. So it's like, if you want to know something, all you gotta do is ask me. Or I'll have a big stack of books and be like, start reading, kid, catch up. But yeah, I don't like the idea. They're just, like, it was always frustrating for me growing up that like there was only one option. Like this is it. This is all of it. And then I got older and I learned more about it, and I'm like, even if you're just a Christian, there's so much more to Christianity than just like what you get at Sunday school. So yeah, I want them to read the Chronicles of Narnia and like all that stuff too, and Harry Potter. Why not? Like, get it all in there. See what you make of it. And then I'm hoping, that the kid will be wicked smart. I think that's the number one thing I'm afraid of, is if like I have a dumb kid. Like,
I know.
Faith already gets on to me. She's like, you're gonna struggle if our kid like learns how to read at an average rate. Like, if our kid is just normal, you're gonna think they're dumb. And I'm like, that's not really how it's gonna be. But I would prefer, if I want us to have some stuff in common. Read some books, kid. Come on.
Yeah. I think that, it's really hard, just not, once you have a kid, like, you do not know how they're going to turn out. There's so much you're not in control of as a parent. That's going to be really challenging, I feel like, as they get older. Like, and there's a lot of things I can control right now and in the household and stuff like that. But yeah, even just whatever's going on in their brain, like, say that they are a little slower for some reason, like, that's just something you have no control over, and it's just like, it sucks, man. It sucks to think about, you just got to hope for the best, and like, in the end, like, he's got all 10 fingers, 10 toes. He's a happy baby, and I'm just like, this is good for right now, and yeah, but I know it's going to get to some point where I'm like, I feel like it's just going to get harder. Like, the beginning is so hard because they need so much from you, like, and you're just tired as hell. But at some point, it's going to get so much more complicated, like, that's what's scary, man,
Yeah. I've also begun to like think about the art that I consume differently now. Like, as soon as I kind of like, maybe before that to some extent, but like really once I had a kid, I'm like, I think a lot more about like what the rapper in the songs is saying, and like what the what's on the screen, and what are the lessons being taught here. I remember like when I was really young, you always hear people say like, there's always this argument like kids can like watch rated R movies, or they shouldn't watch this stuff, and like it'll get into their head, or it won't, and like or like if you listen to music about drugs and pimps and shit, you'll grow, you'll want to be like that. And I'm leaning more and more towards like, I definitely did all the shit that I saw on TV. Like, as soon as I saw Jackass, I was right outside, like jumping off of shit and like trying to break my legs and stuff. And I don't know. I just want my kid to be a good person. Above all else, I wanted him or her to be a good person and like have good morals and like think about things. I don't want them to be a fucking follower that just goes with the crowd. I'm like, think for yourself.
For sure.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we have the opportunity for our kids to go far as long as we put the time into it. Because there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of parents that just don't. You know, like it's just crazy. I feel like it's a time to raise good kids. I feel like you just have to try a little harder than everyone else, and they have the potential to be better.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone's equal, you know, but like they have a chance to, you know, really thrive in life. And
They're not.
yeah,
I know people who I think are terrible parents. I'm not going to say their names, but I'm like, you suck. You really you're dropping the ball in too many ways for my
for
taste.
sure.
Like, and your kid's
Yeah.
gonna suck because you suck.
Yep. Exactly.
Um,
Yeah. And that's what, yeah, sobriety is so good about because you have nothing else to think about besides like just the good things, you know?
mm,
Like you're not running away from any problems. You're just in the moment always. And like it just makes you think about the right things more often, you know? Yeah. I feel like every
yeah,
parent should at least have some sort of sobriety for a while or just in general. I mean, at this point, like I'm just like a diehard sober from drinking and like that's how I just want it to be, you know? But like I can't even imagine being distracted with alcohol right now. Maybe not even at the extent, but like looking forward to like, all right, this weekend, like I'm just gonna get drunk. Daddy's gonna get drunk, you know? Or
I just don't
something
want
like
my
that.
kid to see me like that. You know, like
Yeah,
I I had
100%.
this moment when I was pretty tore up, and I had promised my niece I would go to her dance recital, and I'm her favorite person, like by far. Her dad is like jealous, but that's okay. And like I'd promised like months ahead of time, like I will be at your dance recital. You know, I'd never got to go to that shit while I was in the military or overseas, so it was like really important. And I wasn't even thinking about what day it was. I just got shit hammered the day before, and like I show up to this thing, and I am feeling like what you're saying earlier, like my eyeballs are gonna pop out. Like I just feel terrible, but I muscled through it because I was like I was imagining like if this was. I mean, first of all, I care about my niece a lot. Camden, I love you. If you ever listen to this when you're older, um, but I was thinking like if my daughter was like counting on me to be somewhere and then looked out into the crowd and I'm not there because I'm fucked up somewhere, like
Yeah,
how do I justify that? You can't. Like you're just a piece of shit. So don't do that.
100%.
I mean, if you're out there and you're struggling, first of all, I empathize. I've been there.
Yeah,
Just try to do better.
for
Um,
sure.
but for me, the only thing that like worked was just having that mindset change of like I just knew I was like I don't want to live like this anymore. I just kept and I'd gone back and forth. I tried to quit so many times, and then I would make up some dumb excuse to get back into it and fall right back into the same hole. And then yeah, I
Yeah,
just like
and
a
like
good.
I mean, how my dad was like, you know, like I don't want to be like my dad, you know. That's like
Mm,
once I turned to a parent, like that was always my goal was to be a better, you know, I think that's every parent's goal is to be a better father than theirs. But like, you know, like that's for me is just like being sober, you know, just cuz like yeah, my dad wasn't present because of all that. And then whenever he was like fucked up, you know. Like that's not I don't know. I just want to be there for my son, you know, more than anything.
I want to be an example of like what a good man is. Like
For sure.
that's the best way I can do it. Like I don't even want my kid to be like I want to be a better dad than my dad was. I want him to say like I want to be the kind of dad my dad was. Like
Yeah.
because he was awesome. Um, you know, he spent time with me and like encouraged me to do the things in life that I wanted to do and taught me lots of things and didn't smack me like that. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna make mistakes. And that's always like one of those things where it's like, oh, permanent trauma right there. Well, we'll talk about that years from now, I'm sure. But I had
Yeah.
my I don't know what to call her. She's like, I guess my niece cousin. What is a cousin of a like? What is your cousin's daughter? Is there a word for that?
Uh,
I guess my cousin. Like she's a little girl.
yeah.
Her name's Kennedy. She's like 3 years old now. She's so adorable. But we were at this birthday party, and uh, I guess somebody took her baby doll away or something like that, and she says the F word, and this all the other little kids are like, Uncle Tyler, she said a bad word. I'm like, really? Which one did you say? And she was adorable. She's really articulate for a 3-year-old. So I'm like, well, what did you say? And then she didn't try to lie or anything. She just like explained to me the circumstances that led up to her saying fuck. And I was like, not even mad. I was like, you know what? Just don't do it at school, and I don't care. Like, I think that's great. I'm gonna go tell your mom this now. Like, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, a lot of pressure, but I feel like, yeah, being sober just makes it so much easier to not make as many mistakes. Like, I don't, yeah, like you were saying, I don't want him to see me like fucking up, like, yeah, I want to be like his hero in a way, not even in too cheesy of a way, but truly like, yeah, and it makes you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, this is someone that I want my son to see. Like, like if if I didn't respect myself before, like now I am willing to put in the work to respect myself, and like
Yeah.
be respected in general.
I don't want to be one of those old dudes that like tries to give you advice and then just does exactly the opposite of what they said. Like, don't do, like the do what I say, not what you see me doing, and all that kind of shit. I'm like, kids don't learn like that way.
True.
If my kid sees me fucking cracking open a beer at 12:30 in the afternoon, they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna be like, oh well, my dad did it. He's fine. I'm like, well, I'm not fine. So
True.
um,
Yeah, dude. That's crazy, dude. You got like a month left, don't you?
6 weeks roughly. Yeah.
And yeah, it'll be give or take. Usually the first one they say is a little bit later. But Benny was early, which yeah, they say that's gonna be a trend now. So if Brooke gets pregnant again, it'll be an early baby too. Kind of scary, but we're still going for it.
What do you think? Like the age gap you're kind of aiming for?
Yeah. So basically, like right now, like we were thinking a year and a half to 2 years. So we're already in that bubble right there. So yeah, we're kind of trying, but also our lives have been fucking hectic, and we've been so tired with Benny. Like Benny is a lot of work. We're always like, at the end of the day, we're always like, fuck, because it's so much work, dude. Like I'm just glad that she's getting out today, and I'm doing this. Like, it's just really nice for us. I mean, yeah, things have slowed down a lot, but it still is like he cries a lot. He's a baby, and you can't go anywhere with him. You can't take him. This is like whenever Jake was drunk. You can't take him anywhere.
Yeah.
But seriously, he just cries everywhere you take him. I mean, not terribly, but you have to like get him happy, dance for him, swing him around and stuff, and then he's instantly back to being like, all right. And yeah, dude. So yeah, us getting some freedom back now that Brooke's out of the military is pretty nice. Like, she's having so much fun, I'm sure. And you saw her in a freaking cowboy hat. Like, she's having fun,
Yeah,
And she got back to where she was, physically. Like, she lost all that like baby fat and stuff like so quick, crazy. She literally looks like she didn't even have a kid. Pretty wild.
Yeah. It's crazy too, because you guys Brooke is a little bit. She's in. I'm not gonna ask a lady's age. She's a little bit older than most girls are when they decide to have kids. So it's interesting that she bounced back so quick, and it's good. Yeah,
Nowadays, a lot of people have them late, which is pretty crazy. There's actually freaking there's a shortage of people. Like they're saying in I don't know, the next decade or so, like there's going to be such a shortage of people because no one can afford to have kids right now, until they're older.
I feel like that's just nonsense. Like my parents couldn't afford to have kids, but they had 4 of us, or like my mom did anyway. And then my dad had 5 and he couldn't afford not a single kid. And that's just an excuse people are making. You can afford to have a kid.
That's true. Yeah, you'll always find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
But people aren't having kids though. It's crazy. Like it's actually gonna fuck with shit here soon.
I think people are not having heterosexual sex. I think it's that's the problem. Like I feel like what is wrong with us? Just our whole generation. And you're not wrong. I mean, I'm almost 30 too, so like there's just so much of this in our mind, and I feel like it's put in our head by our institutionalization or some shit. They you can't afford to have a kid or whatever. I'm like my parents had lots of kids, couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
we worked.
Well, I mean,
out.
I mean, it's just like a lot of the wealth right now is just in the older, like, you know, are just a lot of older people are holding a lot of the wealth right now. You know, we got into this crazy like capitalistic point, like the end of capitalism, where like it's just taking a crazy turn, and every house is monopolized by these companies, and no one can afford to buy a house. Everyone's spending all their money on this expensive ass rent, you know, and like
Just don't live in places where it's so expensive, man.
that's true.
Like,
That's true.
I feel like if everybody, it's just like going on strike at a job. It's like if you can't afford to live in fucking Vale, everyone should just leave Vale. Like,
For sure.
fuck this place. And I get
Yeah,
it. You know,
unless you just
I really want to ski every day, but I mean, like, if you want to have a family, you must make sacrifices. It's-
which I mean, this is what yeah, it sucks just because their family lives here.
Mm,
But and also like the where I'm from is like depressing. So it's like, do we want to live next to her family here, or do we want to live in Depressingville where everyone smokes meth? It's like the freaking origins of meth where I'm from.
Dude, come out here. You can get a brand new house for like $200K right next
Dude,
door.
that'd be fucking
They just
sick.
built a house like right behind me. Just move in. I'm like, it'll be great.
Can you watch my son?
Yeah, I'll homeschool your kid. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be doing it with my kid anyway. Like,
Dude, that'd be
I
pretty sick.
I don't go anywhere for like. I mean, other than I go to like my meetings and shit. Every first Saturday of the month or whatever, and then like other. I work from home. It's epic. It's like the best thing ever. I
That's
just
badass.
I run the whole company from this garage. So,
Once
and myself.
yeah, once I'm firefighting or some sort of EMT job, I should have a lot of time, honestly, because like I was saying, you work all of it up front, and then you have the rest of the week off. So
Mm.
yeah, dude. But dude, that's pretty fucking tempting. Brooke would be like, "Fuck no."
We can jam every day.
Dude, I would fucking love to. I'm ready to make an album. I know I've been saying that for a long time, but I feel ready. You know,
I,
I've
I
actually
think you
written some
should.
songs. Written
Think
some songs. I've got the idea of it and everything, even just for fun. You know,
you're like the best guitar player I know who's not a professional musician. Like it's kind of a ludicrous. Like
there's no way. There's no way.
I have seen you play the guitar many, many times, and like I think you are a really, really good guitar player. And then I'm like, why are you not doing that? But
Yeah.
like I think you're technically a better guitar player by far than I am. Like I might have a little bit more of that hip gyrate and soul or whatever, but like you're good. Like you should really should cut a record or something.
I've been freaking working hard on it right now. Thanks, man. Seriously. I mean, that's like
I'll
my
be your
one
whole backing
passion.
band. I'll play everything you don't play.
Hell yeah.
I'll play the drums. I'll play the bass.
I
Play the keyboards.
yeah, this is a freaking like spiritual thing, but my friend that I went to high school with, he lives here. Well, he lives in Boulder, Colorado. And he went to school for for that music production, and he just like lives right up the road, and like he records all the time, and I'm like, dude, let's freaking do it. He's kind of hard to get a hold of, which is understandable. Like anytime you're asking someone a favor, I feel like it's like hit or miss. We've hung out a few times, but like and we live like 3 hours away from each other, so it's not like we're just like neighbors and can always like record and stuff. But yeah. And fuck, I've been so busy myself. Like I would actually be recording if I wasn't so fucking busy. Like we just had somebody quit. So I've been working every single day, 60 plus hours a week right now. And as soon as Brooke got out of the military, like I was just like, yes, I got some time. Like me and Brooke are gonna spend time with each other. So now like, she can take baby and like, we'll get it all out of our system and actually have some free time and whatnot. Then I get fucking hit with work, so now I can't like record or anything. But I've been playing so much at work, like it's getting to another level. Honestly, like I don't know. If you thought I was good, I feel like I've actually made a lot of progress, which is crazy. I don't ever see myself as a good guitarist. Like I feel very limited, which I don't know. I appreciate the compliment, honestly.
I mean, it's a never-ending thing. You never master any instrument. You just get better at it. For the longest time, I had only played by ear, and I didn't I knew scales and shit, but I didn't like really practice that stuff. I just played the guitar solely, and then I think I did that for like 12 years, and then my friend was like, I don't know why, he was just like, dude, you really should just like focus on learning specific scales or whatnot. And so then I started practicing, and it was like I got like 30% better in a week. I was like, oh yeah. But I felt like I also like I had all of that foundation and then just added a new tool and then I made more progress. But I didn't feel like it. I shouldn't say like it made me better. It just gave me more tools. Like it was like I can do different things now.
Exactly.
Because I like the way that I play. Like I like the
Yeah, dude.
sloppy like Jack White shit I got going on.
Hell yeah. No, you're just a solid player. Like I feel like you know a lot of songs, and it's always like the perfect fucking song for the situation, and it's just badass. Like it's so fun. You're a good jam guitarist, where I don't feel like I jam very well. Like I feel like in a jam setting, I never know what to play. Where like I feel like a lot of my playing has always just been without music, like or drums or anything like that. So it's just me trying to do as much as I can with the instrument itself to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Where like I feel like you played, a lot of like band type music and it just sounds good, you throw some drums on there and it just sounds solid.
I was just in a lot of bands. That's why I learned a lot of songs. But I mean, it's also from just learning to play by ear. It's like I can just pick up on shit where I don't go like sit down and like look at the tabs and shit, whatever. But I think it goes a long way just to like I said, like learning your keys and scales. It's like if I was just like walk into a room, like, all right, guys, blues, E minor, let's go, or not E minor, but whatever, like blues in D, I don't care. And just knowing how to, if you can stay in time, just noodling around and shit. But like writing songs, that's a real talent. That's a totally different fucking animal.
That's what I'm trying to do now. I've got a few written, and I just need to get all of it on the computer,
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. What was I gonna say? About jamming. Fucking tired. But
yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Whatever. But yeah, I'm trying to make a sound that's kind of like I kind of want to make like a shoegaze type album, just like a lot of heavy distortion, synthesizer in there, and kind of like I don't know, like a hypnotic, like psychedelic type thing, but also like kind of hard rock at the same time. Like it's gonna have like fuzz and just all sorts of stuff.
I like Sturgill Simpson's way of doing it, where it's just like every album is completely different. It's just
Yeah.
You can't pigeonhole this guy.
Yeah.
Like I want to do like a country album, and then I want to turn around and just do like a black metal album, and
Hell yeah.
yeah,
100%. Yeah, and it's all just kind of for fun. Like I want to make an album that's maybe just like acoustic for Benny, just like a little relic. Just because I think it'd be sweet, one day, way in the future, he's like, my dad made me this, like whenever he's like my age,
yeah.
you never know. Like my dad's not around. If he made me something like that, I'm sure I'd listen to it. And I mean, it, since I'm in his life, maybe it means something, just things like that. But
Yeah.
damn, I'm trying to think of what I was going to say.
I think about like my time distribution a lot, especially with the baby coming, and like how do I spend my time? And I've been trying a lot to get better at it. Like I've kind of limited myself to only doing podcasts during certain hours on certain days, like when it's quiet around, that kind of deal. And like scheduling work meetings is another big part of that. Like, me and my business partner have to like coordinate that kind of stuff. But I think the hardest thing for me, like knowing that I'm going to have the baby all the time, is I really, really love reading. Like I read a lot, and that's going to get eaten up. It's going to be like, I'm going to have to wake up early in the morning to read before everybody gets up or something. But
yeah,
because I like to just sit alone in my big comfy dad chair and like just open a book and read it until I pass out or whatever. But
there's a lot of things that'll change for sure.
yeah.
And you're not going to want to wake up early. That's for sure. I mean, you'll be up probably, but like you'll be tending to baby, and as soon as they go down, you're like, oh, 2 more hours, please.
Yeah.
It's painful, but definitely rewarding. Yeah, I'm really hoping Benny likes music. I mean, he already seems like he likes music a lot, which is crazy how much stuff I've shown him.
Mm.
I mean, he's too young to ever remember this shit, but I've shown him a lot of music. So I don't know. You better
It'll-
appreciate it.
I think it'll impress you how much that stuff sticks, and you'll be like,
We're gonna
you
just
you
end
hear a
up
song and
being
you're like, I don't know where I heard this before, but I heard it before, kind of thing.
yeah. We're gonna end up just being lame dads. We're like, rock and roll, buddy. You know?
Yeah.
And our kids are just gonna be like, shut up, dad, you're fucking lame.
Yeah, I just want to go listen to my laser techno. I like mommy's music better. Mommy listens to YNW Melly talk about shooting people in the streets. Your music's lame. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, whatever, man. I'm just gonna go out in my garage by myself. Losers.
Yeah.
Nah,
I
it'll be
really-
fine.
I do feel like we have the potential to be pretty embarrassing dads, you know? I just think about my uncle Greg. He's like super into like, the Who and all this stuff. And I think he's the one that actually bought me the Led Zeppelin thing. He was like so happy that I was into rock and stuff. But he's still got like, like long hair and like he's still living like he's in the 80s,
I
And
kind of
it's
want to
just
go like the full khaki pants with the plaid shirt, dad, like with pocket on the front, kind of shit. Like, just I almost want to do that. Maybe I'll do that like on a certain day of the week. It's like I'll just confuse them. Like every day of the week, I'm a different kind of.
Dude, being a dad's pretty awesome. Just the title dad. Like he says dada now, I'm like, that's me. It's crazy. Like it's not even cringy like you would think, like, oh, dad. Like, but it's pretty awesome to be a dad, and wear the title and it means something to somebody, pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
it's a big thing. So
Was there any like plugs or shout outs or?
I was
Final
hoping to maybe
thoughts
have
you have?
I was hoping to have a song recorded by now, but then I got fucked over at work. So no plugs, just till next time. Hopefully I'll have something out actually. I mean you just hyped me up pretty hard to make an album. So it's something I definitely want to do.
If you record something or whatever, just send it to me. I can even
Hell
sit
yeah.
on this for like a week or two if you want, but
That'd be sick.
I'll
Yeah.
play it on the show. I'll tell people where to go get it. You have to get a Bandcamp and a SoundCloud and a Spotify and all that shit set up.
Hell yeah. I would
help you
love
do
to.
it.
I probably should. Yeah, I mean I set up my mic for this, so it's kind of ready to record. I feel like I need some better stuff, but I don't know. We'll get there. Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes you just got to work with what you got,
That's how I've always done it.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna go to bed. It's like
Yeah, dude.
2:00 in the morning out here.
Yeah, dude. No, that was fun. It's good talking to you, catching up.
Mm.
And yeah, got to do it again sometime.
Yeah, man. Let me know when you're ready. Definitely want to thank Jake for coming on the show. Finally, he's one of my oldest friends. Really great guy. Just someone who took me in and took care of me during some of the darkest times of my life. And I hope y'all out there listening have a friend like that. It's just great to hear him, doing well in life and everything. And yeah, let's look forward to him putting out some cool music. Maybe that'd be cool. I hope so. I'll definitely feature it on the podcast. Thank you to our Patreon supporters and to everyone who supports. If you would like to support the show, remember, you can head over to inthekeep.com, click on the support tab, and there are various ways for you to do so. But the most important thing you could do is to tell a friend how much you love this show, because you do, right? You listen to all the way to the end. Congratulations. And just share. And, leave reviews, comments, likes. Those are more important than anything, I guess. I love you. God love you. Stay in the keep.
Hi, I'm Ben, host of the Field and Foley podcast. Every episode I sit down with incredible guests, not just sound designers, field recorders, or musicians, but experts in everything about audio. We explore the creative process behind the sounds that shape our favorite games, films, and experiences. Whether you're an audio professional or just someone who loves great sound, Field and Foley offers deep dives, behind-the-scenes stories, and insights you won't hear anywhere else.